Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
My aunt in Wisconsin has been very concerned the last couple of days. She just received an audit on her tax return for 2013. It came back from the IRS, and it really puzzles her. They are questioning how many dependents that she claimed. I guess it was because of her response to the question, list all dependents, and she replied, 12 million illegal immigrants, 3 million crackheads, 47 million unemployed people on food stamps, 2 million people in over 243 prisons, half of Mexico, and 535 persons in the U.S. House and Senate, and one useless president. Evidently, that wasn't an acceptable answer. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning. Thank you very much, Kate Smith, and God bless America. Good morning, everybody. I'm Zeb Bell at Zeb at the Ranch with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, along with Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more at 459 Overland in Burley, and some of our other great advertisers like Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. And on this snowy, cold Thursday, good morning, Gina.
Well, good morning, sunshine. Well, okay, good morning, sunshine.
Yeah, good morning, sunshine?
Well, it's not sunny outside, though, but you know what? I'm so thankful for the moisture that we're getting. Even though it's kind of treacherous to drive in, I'm thankful for the snow.
And I'm not walking outside, I'll tell you that.
No, and no skidding down the ramp either.
No. I got to thinking about that last night, though, with all the snow on that ramp and on the steps and on the porch and everything. I could develop in that wheelchair my own Olympic events.
Oh, we could call it the Zeb Slalom?
Or, something else like a Daytona great big car crash or something. I don't know, but we could really have some fun out there. Hey, do we have a Pledge of Allegiance person this morning?
We have Mr. Michael Rogers on for the pledge and for the weather.
All right, good enough. Michael, the pledge, please.
Hello, everybody. A pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Current temperature in Murtaugh, 4 above, with a wind chill of -2. It's pretty cold out there. Let's get right to it. We got some serious things to talk about with that weather that you have on the ground there. Windstorm warning for your area is going to take place all the way to Sunday. What does that mean for you? Well, the problem is not the snow that you got on the ground. The problem that you're going to be running into, and that I've seen for the last 9 years, is the winds. What am I talking about? Well, it's real simple. You take Interstate 84 eastbound, and you get down to the split. If you decide to take 84 and go straight down towards Snowville, Utah, you're going to run into snowdrift because the winds are going to come off of that mountain. If you're going to be taking 86 down to Pocatello, you're going to run into snowdrift all the way down to Mastico Rock. So it's at this time that you are to be careful if you are out on the road. The winds are going to be your problem for today, also going to be your problem for tonight and going into Saturday. The good news is that you're going to warm up on Sunday with rain with a high of 41. 27 for the high today, 11 above for the overnight low, and with the winds, that's going to kick the wind chills down to around -4, -3. Put a sweater on, enjoy the moisture, and enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
There's Michael Rogers, weather.com. Thank you, sir. Very, very well done. Appreciate it. Right now it's time to sell some cattle. Let's talk about the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Merv, come on in.
All right, he gets the steer calves there here to $1.31.
Oh, there he is, the world's best auctioneer, Merv May at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, along with Lance Udy, and their big sales today at 10:30. Hey, I'm telling you, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley's where all the action's going to be. For more information on the cattle run that they've got coming in, call them at 678-9411. They're expecting Derek Sevier from Oakley, and these cattle are coming out of Eureka, Nevada, where he runs down there in the Silver State, 90 head of calves. Calvin Miller over at Minidoka bringing in 20 head of fancy black heifers. These are good ones. Jim Castle out of Richfield bringing in 30 head of yearlings. Harris Ranch over to Grace, Idaho. Oh boy, I bet it's cold over there. 30 head of yearlings coming down. Tony Pantone from Shoshone bringing in 25 head of calves. Kelly Steigel, I think it is, out of Hazleton. I hope I said his name right. I don't want him to get mad. 20 head of yearlings coming to the sale at Burley today. And Moo Mountain Dairy, Southridge Dairy, and TLK Dairy out of Mountain Home bringing in a bunch of butcher cows. Sale time 10:30 at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, with Merv May and Lance Udy. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, he gets the steer calves there here to $1.31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 135, 50, 135, sell them $1.35. Zeb Bell get the bottom again.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't mind hitting the bottom at that price. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the situation for this morning. We are going to condense a lot in this first 30 minutes, and we are going to be expecting a call at exactly 8:30 this morning by the Honorable Governor of Idaho, Butch Otter, and it's the first time that Butch has been on our program for a couple of months, and we're going to be talking about the state of Idaho and the status of how everything is at the legislative session. I will not, unless I ask for, I will not be able to take calls because we've got some issues to get into right away that I want to talk about. And if I have time, towards the end of the interview, because of a condensing of the time, I'll open it up for calls. But please don't be offended. We're going to get to as much as we can during that interview. Calls are welcome right now, though, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't forget Denny's Restaurant at 611 North Overland in Burley. Oh, my. I'm telling you, what a menu. What a menu. And I'm not saying that just because they're a new sponsor. No, I'm being honest with you. Long before they became a sponsor, we went in there. And I'll tell you what, the service was impeccable. The gals were really, really nice in there. And breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you just stop in. And don't forget, that's the new home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch. Once a month, we're over there with my lunch bunch. And last month, they were fantabulous. So stop in. Like I said, kids eat free between 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. Restrictions may apply. Ask your server for details at Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley. Really nice folks. By the way, also, we want to mention Ramsey Heating and Electric, and I want to say thanks to Keith and everybody over there for all their support. And I want to remind you they've got the incandescent light bulbs in the 40, 60, 75, or 100 watt size, and our illustrious, wonderful government has decided with regulations that they're a thing of the past. Well, they've got boxes and boxes of them, and I need to get in there and get mine, and you should too. So stop in and check them out today at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, or give them a call at 678-0459. They'll have your order waiting for you on the counter. Ramsey Heating and Electric, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. Did you hear that the new mayor of New York, this Bill de Blasio, this guy must be a real piece of work. He's the one that wants to stop all the horse-drawn carriages in New York that have been there for over 125 years. He said yesterday that he will not march, as mayors have done since time immemorial in New York City. He will not march in the St. Patrick's Day parade. Why? Why? Because the St. Patrick's Day Parade has their own parameters and their own rules, and I support the parade committee because they will not allow gay, lesbian, and transgenders to be a part of their parade. Well, the mayor got all bent out of shape, and he said, well, if you won't let them in, I won't march with you. Well, this is just like the mess, and I'll use that word mess, that's going on in Boise with the special demands for the gays, the lesbians, and the transgenders. And I, for one, and we're going to be talking about this in its entirety next week. We mentioned it a little bit with Speaker of the House Bedke the other day on the phone. But I, for one, am sick and tired of catering or caring to giving in to the wants of these lunatic fringe groups. And I hope you are too. It's time to stand up. And if you're a Christian and a Bible believer, it is time to stand up for what is right and not meet all their sleazy demands. I'll leave it at that for this morning. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Valley White Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Oh, my, they've got all the pine shavings for your horse trailers and your stalls. I got to stop over and stock up. And by the way, they've got 10% off right now on all selected calving items for your cow-calf operation at Valley White Home and Ranch. Go on in and have a cup of coffee. Visit with your friends. And maybe at noon you're running around and going, holy buckets, I'm hungry. Well, they got hot lunch and soup over there. And I'll tell you what, great place to go. Great place to go for all your clothing, all your horse needs, all your feed needs, everything at Valley White Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. And in just a little while this morning, I'm going to be telling you about a great big Valentine's special they got coming up over there at Valley White Home and Ranch. Don't miss it. All right, it's your turn. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. How many of you, and I want you to raise your hands out there, keep one hand on the steering wheel if you're driving, honestly believe that there is such a thing as global warming and that it is man-caused? It seems, caller, I'll be right there. I honestly believe in my heart of hearts, after talking to all the professors and all the scientists from not just around this area, but around the globe, and I put a lot of time and effort and money out of my pocket into finding out their opinions. They all believe that it's cyclical. The ones I've talked to said, yes, we're going back into a cooler, more cooling ice age activity with more ice and everything. You can see it with the winter we're having. This is quite a winter. Right now, 17 states are under severe storm warning this morning. 65% of the United States has snow on the ground. Rapid City's temperature this morning, minus 28. Dallas, Texas, 4 above. Yeah, talk to me anytime you want, global warmers. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, it's cold.
Yes, it is.
Global warming my hind end.
Yeah, really.
Hey, last night, Jeb, I got so mad. Honest to God, I want to just tear this house apart. Sitting here watching television, it come across the bottom of the screen about Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel is wanting more morale change in the United States servicemen. Well, Mr. Hagel, you're part of the problem.
Al, stop right there. Now, when you say that, and I know the story, but I want you to give it to me in your words, more of a morale change. What is he looking for as a change or transition?
Well, it's come about that the officers are cheating on tests at these different sites, now like the nuclear weapons and all that stuff. But Hagel, you're the one that cut the servicemen's pay. You're the one that's taken away their benefits. So get off this soapbox and do your damn job and get off the soapbox back there.
You know what bothers me, Al, and I know that you're going to jump on my side of the fence on this one, is that our veterans coming back from overseas, fighting for this country, losing limbs, losing a lot for the service of their country, and it's almost taking a year or more to get them on the benefit package that they so well deserve, but you can go down and apply for welfare and get everything taken care of in 7 days. Now, isn't this ridiculous?
Yes, it is, and it just keeps getting worse and worse. And then that president will sit there on national television with O'Reilly and tell, "Oh, we're doing everything we can for the veterans."
That's a lie.
lucky I ever seen.
That is a lie. This president, I think, has done more to hurt our veterans and the benefits and slow things down more than any other president. I don't like the man, don't respect the man, and after everything we're seeing with some of his silly quotations, like using smidgens as a word about the IRS scandal, not even a smidgen, Bill, well then why are they still conducting the investigation, and why are new things coming out every day?
Well, it just goes to show you that as long as you grease the palms of them, you can do anything you want. And I wish our Crapo and them would, help put a stop to that crap, because I don't know how they voted, but if they voted for Hagel and that bunch of crap, I give up.
Well, don't give up. Hang in there, my friend.
You know me better than that.
I know, buddy. Hey, God bless you. Have a good day. Thank you.
Have a good one.
All right. Hey, Valentine's specials. We want to say thank you very much to some of these great businesses that are wishing you and your lovey for Valentine's Day a great big happy Valentine's Day from the Goodie Shop, 133 West Main Street in Burley. Valentine baskets. You can create your own, or they'll make one up for you from $18 to $30, and you can also bring in items for the basket. And they got kids baskets from $9 and up. Oh, you'd better order them now. The Goodie Shop at 133 West Main Street in Burley, 647-0106. Also, our thanks go out to a great place to go for Valentine's Day, and that would be the Drift Inn at 545 F Street in Rupert. Oh, a perfect weekend getaway for Valentine's Day. 6 spacious, newly remodeled suites. Available for overnight guests. Yeah! Call 436-1300 to book today. Great food, great staff at the Drift Inn, 545 F Street in Rupert. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Sab. How are you doing?
I am great, sir. Nice to hear from you. How have you been?
I've been fine. Say, as a Christian, I'm against the mass in Boise, Idaho. And what people fail to recognize is this. It will be designed to get rid of religion in this country. That's all it is about. It's not about civil rights. It's not about freedom. It's not about anything but to get rid of religion. The agenda behind this movement is strictly anti-religion.
Let me ask you a question there. First of all, how old are you, sir, if you don't mind my asking?
I'm 71.
All right, you and I are pretty close to the same age. I'm 66. What circumstances have you noticed as a Christian? What have you noticed personally that is a slap in the face or a denigration against religion that's happened to you personally?
Well, everything is evolving in that direction through the media. The media is primarily the source of all these religions. And I believe it's the agenda of the one world order is against that. And even the churches are getting involved with that. Under the, people, the deception is so big and so great that the lies that are coming out, we're in the process of calling evil good and good evil. And this is exactly the agenda, the mood swing, the mood America is in right now.
I agree with you.
We're at a stage in America where evil is perceived as good and good is perceived as evil, and the real Christians are not speaking out. I, for one, am sick and tired of what's going on behind the pulpits. The people are not getting the right message across this country, because I cannot believe we have the most churches. We're the most religious country in the world. I mean, my God, there's churches all over the place. But we're not getting the right message, and this is exactly what's going on in America, because even the Pope is coming against the religion. They're all in cahoots, and they're trying to get, once the religious is gone out of this country.
Once
the gay agenda gets this bill passed, or whatever, under the guise of freedom and civil rights, then the religious has won, the anti-religious has won another step in eradicating our religious freedom belief. It's all about belief in God. That's
right.
what it is.
That's right.
We cannot adhere to that because it's not real. The gay is not nature, it's not logical, it's not biblical, it's not right.
Absolutely. Sir, I want to tell you how much I compliment you, first of all, for being very articulate and explaining your position, because you amplify and you also justify my feelings exactly as to what's going on in this country. I have said the same thing on this radio program for a long time, that organized religion and the Christianity is absolutely under an assault and attack. And, sir, I appreciate your call. I got to run and get a couple of commercials in before the governor gets on the phone this morning, but, sir, God bless you, and call me again, would you please?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Caller, I'll be right there, I promise. Don't go away. I'll be there in just a second. Want to remind everybody about Barry Equipment and Rental. Old Eli, my buddy Eli. Barry Equipment and Rental in Twin Falls at 465 Addison Avenue West, and also at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. 2 locations to serve you, and they got the Doosan heavy loaders and excavators. Oh, these are good. These are the big boys that get the job done. You call Eli in Twin Falls to get with a salesman. That number, 732-7368. You're going to like old Eli. Here's an old country boy that just doggone sure understands what's going on. Ask for the opportunity to earn your business at Barry Equipment and Rental in Twin Falls and Burley. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Zeb. You know, while we're being blindsided by this nutcase de Blasio and all this stuff that's going on in Boise, if you get on a computer and see what's going on, we're being caught in the pincer movement. We're slowly being sidelined or surrounded by these terrorists that are in this country, and they're also just across the border. Hezbollah and Al-Qaeda got their movements going, and we're going to be caught right in the middle in maybe 5-10 years down the road or sooner. And, you know, you hate to keep bringing this subject up, but having spoken to an individual down at Sporting Goods place the other day, a lot of people are oblivious of what's going on.
I agree. Tony, I got the governor waiting, I think, on the other line. I got to get Jim McCall in here real quick, but I want to just tell you this real quick. A terror expert was on the news this morning, and they asked him point blank blunt what he thought of Al-Qaeda and other terrorist groups possibly attacking this country, what the percentages were over the next possible 6 months, and he said 98%. That is scary.
That's right, it's underway.
Tony, God bless you. Thank you for your call.
Welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, right now, let's see if Gina, she's always prepared. I mean, I couldn't do anything without my girl Friday over there. I think we've got my good buddy Jim McCall on the phone. Jim, good morning, real quick. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. Amen to that fellow you just had on there a few minutes ago. That was great.
Absolutely, and there is an attack on Christianity, but when I have people like you coming on my program and him and others, I know that there's still hope. Jim, we're waiting for the governor to call momentarily, so tell us what's going on at Travel Loop Supply real fast.
Well, I don't know if you noticed or not, but it cooled off a little.
Oh, yeah.
We've still got plenty of power service, fuel treatment.
Mm-hmm.
Get some fuel treatment in your, especially these diesel pickups that are running around. Get a new fuel filter in them so that keep them running out there. They're not any fun parked alongside the road. Batteries, windshield wash, get some de-icer on there. Be safe.
You know, and the other thing, too, and I'm not making any jest out of this because I'm plumb serious when I say this, because this whole ground's going to soften up after all this cold spell, and guys are going to be heading for the field, and they're going to get stuck. You got to have your Bubba ropes, right, Jim?
You get the Bubba rope. That's absolutely right. We've got a good supply in right now. If we don't have the one you need, let us know. We'll get it ordered in for you.
All right.
I've got a sale on everything in stock. Give me a call.
All right, we'll tell everybody Travel Loop Supply, 1050 West, 203 South of Hayburn. My buddy Jim McCall, 438-8730. Jim, later on today, give me a call. I need to talk to you about something, old buddy, and have a great day, okay?
Talk to you later.
Thank you, my friend. Real quick, we're going to go to the Capitol Press Ag Minute and be right back with the governor of the great state of Idaho.
Today's Ag Minute brought to you by the Capitol Press, the West Ag Weekly.
Strong world demand for dairy products has led to a U.S. record-shattering all-milk price of $23.20 per hundredweight in January. That tops the previous high of $22 in December and $21.60 in November. Jerry Dreyer, chief market analyst of Rice Dairy of Chicago brokerage firm, says producers have also benefited from feed prices much lower than years ago. Revenue over feed costs in January was $13.69 per hundredweight of milk. That's well above the $7 to $7.50 range that typically after a few months triggers production expansion. Dreyer says that instead of increasing production, many producers are being cautious after 5 unprofitable years. This is Hannah Browse.
For more agriculture news and information, turn to the West's Ag Weekly, the Capital Press, and capitalpress.com.
Thank you very much. And right now we'll check with Gina at the main station. Do we have the governor on the phone?
Yes, we do.
Thank you very much, Gina. I want to say good morning, and it's a real pleasure for me because we've been friends for many, many years to have the Honorable Governor of the state of Idaho, Mr. Butch Otter, on the phone with us this morning. Good morning, Governor. How are you?
Zeb, I am wonderful, and I'm even better now because I'm talking to you this morning. You said we've been friends for years. Zeb, I can't remember when we weren't friends.
That's exactly true.
That doesn't have anything to do with my memory. It's just how long we have been friends.
Absolutely. We've known each other for many, many years, and I have the utmost respect for you, sir. I'm going to get right into the questions for this morning, Governor, and one of the big things that's worrying everyone in the state of Idaho is the United States economy, quite frankly, is on its heels. We're backed up against the edge of the cliff. How is Idaho's economy as far as meeting the budgetary needs for 14 and 2015?
Well, Zeb, it looks extremely bright, and I have to tell you, you live right in the heart of those people that have brightened the outlook for the future, because the Magic Valley, with all of the talent and all of the efforts, the hard work and everything else, as you know, they've added. I can't tell you. Oh, I can tell you about. They've added about $800 million in new capitalization, creating thousands of jobs in the last 14 months. And the prospects for people that have decided that they're coming into the Magic Valley is even brighter. So, but I would tell you in general, Idaho. When I became governor in 07, Zeb, you remember my Project 60 that I announced in 08?
I do.
Well, that's when our economy kind of started to get in a little rough. And our economy, our total economy in the state was $51.5 billion. That's all the economic activity in the state. And from that, we were collecting about $3 billion a year in income, sales, corporate taxes, and some other smaller item taxes in there. And I announced Project 60, and that is we should work to grow our economy from $51.5 billion to $60 billion, because if we did grow it to $60 billion, we would gain probably another $800 million at the same tax level if we stayed there. And so we'd be able to fund all the proper roles of government to the extent that we should, and that would also have some money left over for tax relief. Well, the last 2 years, if you total up all the tax relief that we've been given since Project 60, I think we're right at $280 million a year in tax relief that we've given. So, and the prospects are brighter. We've announced that our growth this coming year is 6.4% growth. That's way over the national average. So you asked me what time it was, and I've given you the history of watchmaking here, and I didn't want to be long-winded on it, but It's a good question, and I believe that we in Idaho, the legislature and the administration, everybody working together, has done a tremendous job getting us through this recession, and at the same time being able to having to make some tough decisions that we made. But I think we've done a tremendous job.
Governor, with every positive to any situation, there's always a couple of negatives. And one negative we can't control, and that's, of course, the severe drought and water shortages that we're facing. And in round figures, we may see almost 200,000 acres shut down for this next year. I would like you, as the governor of this state of Idaho, to explain to the audience, the city people, the people that might live in the burbs someplace, wherever, how devastating closing down that kind of acreage is to all of the economy, whether they live in the rural area or in the town.
Well, you shut down 200,000 acres. Can present a lot of unintended or unseen consequences, especially at this time. If it's 200,000 acres of feedstock, where do we and what additional money do we have to pay to bring feedstock in for our dairy industry, for our beef industry, for our commercial livestock industry as a whole? Because how much of that 200,000 acres is going to be lost because we're not growing the feedstock, and so what the expense is going to go up. 200,000 acres that we may have to dry. Now, Zeb, I want you to know this. We're praying for rain and snow every day, and we're starting to see some effect of that. In fact, we are under a 3-day storm warning, not a storm danger, but a storm warning over here on additional snow that we didn't expect that we were going to get. But I heard this morning from the Snowtel folks that it could be as much as 6 to 9 inches, which would help us a lot. But no question about it, we need about 150% of normal moisture for us to be able to not have to cut water consumption this year.
One of the subjects, Governor, that you and I have talked about privately and also on the telephone many times is the wolf situation here in the state of Idaho. The environmentalists won't honor or adhere to the agreement that was made for 150 wolves. They want more. And we have varied numbers. Some say that we have over 1,500 head of wolves in the state. Some say 700. Regardless, the wolves have flourished and the numbers now need to be managed. And still, the environmentalists try to put a fly in the milk. Tell us about your feelings about this wolf situation.
Well, I pretty well expressed that, Zeb, in the State of the State, in negotiations and talks with the cattlemen, with the sportsmen. The sportsmen have been very firm on wanting to keep these number of wolves to much closer to a level that was originally agreed on in 1994. And so they're willing to make an investment on reducing that wolf number and helping us protect domestic livestock, and at the same time lessen the impact on our ungulate herds. But Zeb, you got to remember that's only the first of many promises that the folks who advocated bringing the wolves in here have broken. And what I mean by that is, yes, they said if you get 150 wolves in the state, that will be sufficient. And then they said, well, we got to have 150 in Idaho, we got to have so many in Montana, we got to have so many in Wyoming. And then that changed from, well, if you let us bring in the wolves, don't worry about the domestic livestock, the sheep and the cattle and stuff, because we will pay for those wolf kills. Well, all of those promises went right out the window. And when the original agreement was made, and Clinton and Babbitt transferred those first wolves and released them in Idaho, from that day forward, we were harmless. I mean, there wasn't a thing that we could do. And the legislature was so frustrated that they said, we're not going to do anything. You brought the wolves in here, you manage them. And the fact that they were here All I'm saying is we would have built a lot of expertise, and we would have built, I think, some good habits in Idaho if we had said, okay, you say 150 wolves, that's what we're going to manage them to from the get-go. But instead, we just said, "Hey, we were like the Frenchmen, the Frenchmen in joining the fight against Saddam Hussein when he went into Desert Storm." There was an ad appeared on the radio or on the eBay, and it said, "For sale, one French infantryman rifle, never fired, only dropped once." Well, that's exactly what we did. We just abandoned the field. And as soon as we did that, the feds took over and they started listening to all those advocates for the wolf. And we did get up, I would say, over 1,000 wolves in Idaho. But because the feds were managing them, who knew?
Absolutely. Governor, there's another issue that I know you're really on top of because it could be the nail in the coffin, not only for the state of Idaho, but other western states, and that's the sage grouse issue and how dangerous it's going to be to the west if they declare it an endangered species. What are your thoughts, and what can we do to alleviate the possible declaration of endangered species and what it'll mean to the state of Idaho?
Zeb, great question. Almost the same process when the feds first came in and said, well, we may limit the sage grouse. There was a feeling just like with the wolves. Well, let them manage them. I did not do that. I said, no, I'm going to get to the negotiating table as quick as I can. I'm going to get a group of the stakeholders in. We got the cattlemen in. We got all the multiple use of sage grouse habitat folks in, whether it was power lines or cattlemen or sheepmen or mining, whatever it was, including sportsmen. And I put together a sage grouse task force group and said, let's come up with our own plan. And then we'll perfect that plan as best as we can, and then we'll argue our plan in court against the federal government. And so, actually, what has happened is the DOA, or the Department of Interior, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, has put their plan together, which was, as you can imagine, a whole lot more restrictive than ours. Well, I mean, we would have had a ban. And now you got to remember, this is 11 states. It's roughly 44 million acres in the West that they're talking about limiting the habitat on if this sage grouse is listed. And so I tried to get other states to kind of join with me, and some of them said, no, we're not going to do anything. We're going to let the feds do it, yada, yada, yada. But we put together a plan. I've been arguing that plan now for about the last 8 months in front of the Department of Interior, and in some cases across the negotiating table. They finally said, okay, Idaho's plan is a alternate to the plan that the biologists and everybody at Fish and Game and Interior came up with. So we now have our plan on the table, and we're hoping with the same impact that their plan is. So what we're going to do now is taking a look at both plans and trying to pick the best of the best from it. And I can tell you, Zeb, the reason I did this is because when the feds said, okay, we're going to have a roadless area, you remember when Clinton cut down hundreds of thousands of acres in the West with a roadless study group, and they stayed that way they were ad hoc wilderness is what they were. Well, Jim Risch, in the 7 months that he was governor, put together a panel just like I did on the sage grouse. They all sat down and they figured out what the best management plan was. Idaho now has the only roadless plan in the nation.
Governor,
the only one. Because we didn't abandon the field, we stayed at the table and fought them. In fact, we actually got it through the Ninth Circuit Court in California.
Yes. Governor, when you look at this situation, though, and you hear the stories and the theories and also the truisms about Agenda 21 and the environmental movement and the trying to take property away from private property owners and turn things back into more of a pristine, naturist type situation, everyone, whether they live in town or they live in the country, should be scared, very afraid as to what could happen with the listing of the sage grouse. And it's so ambiguous because they still allow a hunting season on this bird.
The endangered species, how do you have a season of take on an endangered species? We spend $300 million a year on salmon and steelhead restoration on the Snake Columbia reaches, and we have a salmon season and a steelhead season every year. I just don't understand. It's not about survival of the species, Seb. It's about control of the land.
Yes. Yes.
They're just using the species, which is, when you take a look at all of them that they put on the endangered species list, when the Endangered Species Act was first passed and have been put on since, and then compare that to how many have been taken off the list, it is a disastrous failure.
Governor, one of the things that we've talked about many times in the past, and I know your feelings about Obamacare, but day by day, ever since the so-called internet was ready to go for Obamacare, day by day there's been more problems. It is a complete disaster, and now we're finding out that this administration is even advocating that people stop working full-time and get funding basically to stay off a full-time job and go home and get subsidies from the government. I, in my life, have never heard of such a ridiculous situation where you stop working hard so the government will take care of you. Your thoughts about this mess with Obamacare?
Well, I would tell you this, Zeb. If I could vote tomorrow to get rid of Obamacare, I would vote for the 43rd time to get rid of Obamacare. Because it has once again been an absolute disaster. It's Obama's theory of getting people to vote for a living instead of working for a living. And the more government handouts and the more of a nanny state that he can create in all these situations, he is going to do it. He is a dedicated person to income equality. He calls it income equality. What it is, Zeb, I got to take some of your money away from you. Butch, I got to take some of your money away from you, and I'm going to give it to somebody because they don't have as much time and effort in putting into a job and make the money that you guys make. So I got to take it away from you. Robin Hood was at least a lot more honest about it. He pointed an arrow at you, and you knew who the enemy was. But the Robin Hood theory of taxation has been perfected by the Obama administration.
Can we survive what you and I both know is a disaster? Can health care survive? Will the exchange in Idaho work for Idahoans? What do you see looking ahead for the next year or 2 years with the exchange working here?
Well, I would tell you this. The states that decided to create their own exchange instead of let the feds, they didn't abandon the field. They didn't drop the rifle without firing a shot. The states that have, I'm talking to a lot of my colleagues now about how their process is going in their state. And of course, those that got way ahead of us by a year and created their own exchange, like New Mexico and Nevada, Utah in some cases. Utah had one before Obamacare came along. They had an exchange, which was just a marketplace to go to and say, there's 5 insurance companies in the state. I want $2,000 deductible. I want coverage for a family of 4. These are the kind of coverages I want. Push a button, and then you got the price from each of those insurance companies. But what I'm telling you is that there is so much dynamic now going on in the states that decided to set their own exchange up. That they're being so innovative and creative that I'm going to make a prediction, Zeb, that in 4 to 5 years, Idaho will not have a state exchange. But it'll be run by the private sector with dynamic and new, exciting products that the private sector is going to come up with. And people ask me today, well, what if Obamacare failed tomorrow? I said, if Obamacare failed tomorrow, we'd have this thing turned around in a year. Mm-hmm. And in fact, I really think it's going to fail. There's no way they can fund it. Look at the people that are up for election this year on the Democrat side. That there wasn't one Republican that voted for Obamacare. That are up for election now, that are abandoning the field. What was the guy's name in Alaska? The senator from Alaska said, "I don't want Obama coming up to Alaska to help me get reelected." And it's all because of Obamacare.
Governor, one quick question from a caller, and then I'm going to be out of time in this segment. Caller, go ahead. Real fast question, please.
Yes, I was wondering what the governor's take was on this white cloud area. Is there anything the state can do to stop the government takeover of that area?
It's a very good question, Governor.
Thanks for the call, and thanks for the opportunity, Zeb, to speak to this.
Yes.
My position when I was in Congress, my position all the time that I've been governor, is that there are activities that are going on up in that white cloud area, and I will resist any designation of that area that ceases those activities.
I absolutely appreciate what you're saying because, Governor, as you know, I have a disability and I'm on crutches. Many people want to enjoy some of the great scenic value areas of the state, whether it's on a motorized vehicle, an ATV, or a horseback like I go. But with these shutdowns and these monument statuses and everything, we as taxpayers are shut out, and there's an inequity and an unfairness to that entire situation.
You're absolutely right. You just take a look at what has happened. We've got more contiguous wilderness in the state of Idaho, in the lower 48, than any other state. The only state that probably has more designated than us is Alaska. And we can go back and we can thank Jimmy Carter and Cecil Andrus for that. But it's not going to, all they're doing is locking our economic potential away from us.
That's right.
And whether it's recreational, and whether it's hunting and fishing and enjoying the outdoors, they're just locking because they want to see this pristine area. I remember that one great Alaskan wilderness area where they wanted to drill for oil on the north shelf, and it was thousands of acres. And so we finally said, when I was in Congress, well, you want to lock that? That's locked up too, but we need the oil. And they stopped us, between the environmentalists and the courts, they stopped us from drilling an oil well up there. And we said, well, how many people go up there and visit that? And it was less than 1,000 a year.
Mm-hmm. Governor, I want to say thank you, not only as one of your constituents, but also as a friend for taking the time to come on my program this morning. I wish you continued success, and don't make yourself a stranger. Come back and visit with us more often. We'd certainly appreciate it.
I'd love it, Zeb. I appreciate you. You're right. We've been good friends for a long, long time, and I hope to be good friends for a long time to come.
Governor Butch Otter on our program this morning. Thank you so much, and God's blessings to you and your lovely wife. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a weather update with MichaelRogersWeather.com, and it's brought to you this hour by our friends at Butte Irrigation, and they have two locations, 116 South, 600 west of Paul, and, of course, the new one right there a little bit north of Kimberly on Kimberly Road by Red Cap Corner. They will get you wet, the very best in all your irrigation needs. Bryce and the rest of the crew, they know. They know all about water. They know all about irrigation, and they can help you on your property. So please give them a call or stop in. Butte Irrigation in Paul, and the new location right there north of Kimberly on Red Cap Corner. Here's Michael Rogers Weather.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. Be careful what you ask for, you may get it. Where am I going with this? Well, you need the moisture. This is one way you're going to get it. And oh, by the way, you're going to get this, what you got on the ground, all the way through the weekend. Now, the good news is that you'll be warming up into the 40s by the weekend. Right now, you're going to top out today. You're going to struggle to get to possibly 25, maybe 27. Should be about an inch on the ground before it's over, said and done. Be careful as you're driving today, and have a great day. Enjoy the weather. Tell me whether you got.
Thank you, Michael. Brought to you by Butte Irrigation. Bryce and the crew. Good folks. Talk to the pros with the answers to your questions regarding irrigation at Butte Irrigation in Paul, and also the new location on Kimberly Road by Red Cap Corner. Butte Irrigation. I want to also say thank you to our major sponsor. And, of course, our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, having the big Founders Day celebration. One of the honors of my life, honestly, was to meet Mr. Les Schwab. And that was in Prineville, Oregon, years ago. But, boy, this man really worked hard and established the best of all tire companies. I'm telling you what, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all over the West. And don't forget, right now, we have 7 great locations serving you. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, Twist Family and Paul, John on Poline and Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley. Great buys on tires right now for the Founders Celebration. Money-saving offers like $50 off custom wheels when you buy a new set of 4, $25 off brake job when you buy a front brake job. All of this and more at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. You stop in and see them today. Wow. Gina, we made it through the half hour. We got everything caught up. Woo. Ask me if I'm sweating profusely.
Are you sweating profusely?
I am. It was busy to get everything in. Pardon me?
Did you wear your deodorant today?
I did. And I want to say thank you to the governor for taking time out of his schedule for about a 30-minute interview. And I think we got into most of the issues that we had time for. And I took that one call with my dear friend Fred Preston. It was a very good question about the White Clouds area. So I think we got most of it in this morning, and we appreciate all the thoughts. Thank you. So.
And we've got a busy hour coming up next hour, too.
We do. We're going to, let's see, what do we got at 9:06 Chamber Report, and then we got kind of a little chit-chat with you and I about maybe public service events going on around the area and some other things. And then, of course, our old buddy Kent Moore. Is Kent going to be in the studio next hour?
I am going to call him and find out.
Okay.
I'm assuming he is because he has not let me know that he wasn't.
With Dog Nation. And then, of course, one of the lovely, lovely ladies in the area that we always look forward to talking to, and that's Rita Ramsey. But I am going to be taking a little break right now for about 6 minutes, and I'm going to try to stand up, and shake the kinks out of my old knee, my new knee, actually, and we'll be back in 6. Zev at the Ranch, don't go away. Welcome back. Hour number 2, Zeb at the Ranch on a Thursday. My goodness sakes, good morning. Be careful out there if there's snow accumulation on the road and everything. Drive carefully. And also, I'd like to remind you, thanks again to our major sponsor. Did that hurt your head? Our major sponsor is, of course, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And also our thanks go out to Leeds Furniture, Floors and More at 459 Overland and Burley, and our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Let's not forget, too, before we go to our first report from the Chamber of Commerce, our friends at Hanson Mortuary with Joel Heward, owner-manager, and his staff, 710 6th Street in Rupert. And when there's the passing of a loved one, it seems like the whole world is just spinning out of control, and you've got so many things to do in such a short period of time. Well, during that difficult time, Hanson Mortuary wants to have all the expectations of service to you to be met and exceeded. They always uphold the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity of working with and for you. Contact them today at 436-5636. That number for Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. Right now, let's say good morning to a lovely lady over at the Chamber of Commerce. Hello, Kay Cameron. How are you?
Kay, still coming back from Jamaica. This is Jackie.
Jamaica man! Well, hello, Becky. How are you?
Jackie.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, listen, what is going on over at the Chamber of Commerce this morning?
Besides cold and blowy snow, which we're so thankful to be receiving, we're getting ready for a ribbon cutting on Friday at the Tin Roof Coffee House, and that will be at 4:30, and it's over on 1231 Oakley Avenue.
Okay. What goes on at a ribbon cutting? I mean, what really is the ceremony all about? What do you do, and what's expected?
We bring our ambassadors, which are our right arms for the chamber. They help us plan all kinds of things, especially the ribbon cutting, and they welcome the new people to the area. And they cut the ribbon, of course, which signifies the grand opening of that business. And they're given a plaque with their first dollar on it at that time. So it's really exciting because we seem to be having a lot of ribbon cuttings. That must mean our area is doing well.
Well, it certainly does. Now, here we are. I can't hardly believe that already we're next week going to be at the middle portion of February. That means, boy, we're not that far away from spring and a lot of activities. I'll bet you're getting busy, aren't you?
We are. We are planning our women's seminar and expo, which will be held on April 24th, and that always brings in close to 300 and 350 women. And this year we're trying something new. We've always had it from 10 to 3, and this time we're extending our hours, doing 11 to 7. So for those moms that aren't allowed to get off, or women who are not allowed to get off work, they have that option of coming later on.
Oh, that is a good idea. Now, that's going to be on what date?
April 24th at the Best Western Burley Inn, and we are so excited. We have all kinds of things planned for it, and our theme this year is Endless Possibilities. The difference is you.
Okay. Now, are you asking for people to sign up early? I mean, is there anything you want people to do now?
Yesterday, our newsletter went out in the mail, and in that newsletter was a brochure that people can sign up for a booth, because we have 51 vendors at this expo.
Wow.
And so people can sign up for a booth, and it's open to chamber members only until February 28th, and then after that it's opened up to the general public. So and after the 28th, if there's booths available, then anybody can have a booth in there.
All righty. Anything else on behalf of the chamber this morning?
We are having something, well, we've done this in the past, but because we decided we wanted a fresh new look on our Mini Casual Visitor's Guide, we're having an amateur photo contest.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they want to enter, and we mean amateur, and that means you make half your living from not being a professional, so make sure, that you're not a professional in entering this, but we're really excited because the first place will get $50 in chamber cash, and second place will get $25, and third will get $10. Of course, their photos will have their name on them in all of our brochures we use them in.
Okay.
And we also have an honorable mentions will get published also. So.
Wow. Well, listen, tell me quickly, how can people get a hold of the chamber office to keep up on what's going on?
So you can call us at 679-4793, or you can Facebook us, or you can go on our webpage. It's minicasualchamber.com.
All right. You did a great job, and I want to wish you a fantastic day. Enjoy. Thanks for all your help this morning.
Okay, thank you.
God bless you. Thank you. Chamber of Commerce report. Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce, and really, really nice people. Hey, don't forget, too, you should have the thoughts in your mind about, wait a minute. Do I have my life insurance in order? Do I have my health insurance in order? Do I have my retirement planning? Do I have my employee benefits? Whoa, I better check it out. Well, where you check it out is Cameron and Siemens Insurance. Number to call, 436-4424. And, of course, they're located on Highway 24 right there in Rupert. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Dean and Todd, they're waiting to serve you. Remember the number, 436-4424. Really, really nice people. Hey, while I've got just a moment here, I also want to acknowledge that Valentine's Day is coming up, and a closed-circuit message to Gina. We might have to pull off the same thing we did during Christmas season. Hint, hint. Anyhow, don't forget Whipple's Book Plaza at 222 West 11th Street in Burley. Oh, Colonel Dale and the rest of the crew at Whipple's Book Plaza. If you go in and mention that you heard this on Zebeth Ranch, you get 10% off your purchases, except on already marked down items. Well, they've got books and precious moments and greeting cards and art supplies and crafts and children's books. Oh, my! You won't go away empty-handed. The Book Plaza has it all. Whipple's Book Plaza, 222 West 11th Street in Burley. And don't forget to our friends at Perkins Restaurant, 800 North Overland in Burley. Oh, they've got so much for Valentine's Day. How about shrimp or chicken pasta? Creamy Alfredo with chicken or shrimp atop a bed of the delicious pasta with diced tomatoes and asparagus and a delicious piece of cheesy garlic bread. All that for just $10.29. Your lovey is going to give you a big old kiss on the grinners. You're going to love that at Perkins Restaurant, 800 North Overland in Burley. Happy Valentine's Day. I got to check and see if Gina's there for a minute. I need to visit with her. Gina, I've got a question for you. You ran?
Sure.
Don't, please.
I ran away.
You're not allowed to run away. Please,
what you got?
Do not scare me for that. No, I have a question. I have a very simple question, okay? I'm 66 years old, and I have certain thoughts on occasion that come buzzing into my brain. Well, one came buzzing into my brain yesterday, okay?
Okay.
How come there is such a legion of doom against cigarette smokers? And by the way, I can't smoke, nor do I want to because I'm an asthmatic, okay?
Okay.
But I don't want to condemn or have condemnation against anyone that does smoke because I still feel that they should have the right to use a legal product, all right?
Right.
How come cigarette smokers are damned and made to move away from here? Nope, can't smoke there. You got to go over here. Nope. Can't smoke at all here. Oh, my goodness. Why, we can't let you go into a bar, or we can't let you go into a cafe and smoke. No smoking. But here's my question. How comes pot smoking is now legal in states like Washington and Colorado, and the fumes are more dangerous?
I'm assuming that they still can't smoke in establishments, and they have to do it, probably in areas where they can't be seen, just like us regular smokers. And that's a great question. I'm going to have to do some research on that.
Well,
but, as far
isn't it rather ambiguous, my dear lady? Isn't it rather ambiguous that states like Washington and Oregon and Colorado and other states now are thinking about legalizing pot, which I think is stupid, but they'll go ahead and they'll say to those people that, yeah, you can go ahead and smoke pot, but to the cigarette smokers using tobacco, they almost treat them like they're criminals.
Oh, no, we are the lepers of society.
There you go. Now, am I wrong in my thinking?
No, you're not wrong in your thinking. I know that up in the city of Moscow, you can't smoke in any bar anymore, and you have to go outside, and then you have to be 25 feet away from, the entrance of whatever establishment. So maybe they're going to do the same thing with pot smoking. I have no idea.
Well,
that's a great question.
Well, and the ambiguity of this whole thing, and let's use Denver, okay? Here's a cafe or a bar.
The Mile High City.
Yeah, there you go. But let's just say it's a little bar right there on one of the side streets off of State or wherever. And you go in there and you start to light up a cigarette, and the bar owner comes over to you. No, hey, put that cigarette out. But right next door, and this is what's happening there, right next door, you can go in and light up a joint and say, hey, man, how's life? I mean, it's so ambiguous and stupid.
It's not quite fair now, is it?
No.
Honestly, I wish I had the answer. I think that, if you can't smoke in any sort of establishment, I mean, it's got to be across the board. It doesn't matter what it is. If you can't smoke in public, then you can't smoke in public, period.
I was listening.
Doesn't matter what it is.
I was listening to a guy last night on a newscast, and it wasn't on Fox. I'm trying to think if it was on CNN or what. I can't remember. But I try to skip around and find all these different people with different ideas and everything. And he was talking about pot smoking, and boy, I mean, he was a dad, and I think he was from Pennsylvania, I'm not sure. And he said, no. He says, of all the doctors and all the people I've talked to, the pot smoking, it stays in the system. It's much more dangerous than alcohol and does more damage on a long-term basis and everything. And, I got to thinking when he was talking, well, now, isn't this ridiculous that we would absolutely ostracize people across the United States from smoking a legal tobacco product? And by the way, raising tobacco is still legal, but yet we're going to open our doors and our arms and welcome, like in Denver and other cities. Oh, you want to smoke pot? Well, come on in. I mean, this is so stupid.
It is rather ridiculous. And as far as, I know that with cigarettes, they put an enormous amount of chemicals on them after the tobacco is already grown, and, they go through the processing plants. They do put a lot of chemicals on that, so it is a little bit more toxic, I think, than the natural substance.
And here's...
But I think if I can't, and I'm a smoker, and if I can't be in an area where, pot smoking is allowed, but cigarette smoking isn't, I'll be raising a stink in more ways than one.
Yeah, just really, though, when you think about it, unless tobacco is going to be all of a sudden a black mark on the poster, it's illegal, you can't touch it. It's not illegal. It's a legal product that is sold, but yet you and other smokers, and I'm not advocating smoking, I'm not, but I'm saying that it's a legal product, and if you want to use it, you actually have more restrictions against you than what marijuana smokers have.
Yep, this is true. And I don't understand why, and I wish I need to do some research on that.
Okay, well,
and so we could do a full segment on that one.
I know you probably think my mind's out in left field, but I happened to think about that, and I thought, why? Anyhow, we'll take a quick call, and then we'll come back with Kenny Moore. Good morning, you're on the air.
Yes, I just wanted to comment on the smoking. I don't smoke, but I understand now they're trying to ban the e-cigarettes.
Yes.
Which my husband smokes, but he started using one of those since last April and hasn't had a cigarette since. And I know some of the young kids who've been using some of them, but I can't understand why they would do that.
Would you explain to me, dear lady, please, explain to me, maybe I'm missing something, how a mist is going to cause any health problems?
Well, it certainly hasn't in our house, and I've got some kids that's done it too, rather than smoke a cigarette. And I've had cancer and whatnot, even in the throat, but I don't smoke. But I'll tell you what, it's really neat to have my husband not smoke a cigarette anymore.
Absolutely.
Which is anybody's prerogative if they want to, because I certainly think that's their right to do that. But,
I agree with you. And
I just think this e-cigarette, I can't understand it at all.
It doesn't make any sense, which is 99% of government regulations. Can't make any sense out of them. God bless you for your call. I appreciate it. What the lady just said on her call and her question and her comment was really true. Yesterday I heard that there are certain, I think it's Mayor de Blasio in New York, I believe. Now, I'm not going to hinge everything on him until I can verify this. But I believe he said that he's going to go outlaw the electronic type cigarettes, with the mist. Why? Makes no sense to me. It goes right along with what we're talking about here this morning. I know that there are like 9 states, believe it or not, 9 states that want to jump on the pot bandwagon and try to legalize marijuana and the use of marijuana. Some even want to start making it legal so they can put it in different food products. Oh, good. We need to have a bunch of grade schoolers get a hold of brownies filled with that. And they want to try to legalize it in 9 different states, but yet they go after the e-cigarettes, which is nothing more than a vapor mist, not smoke at all. And then the other smokers that have been smoking a legal product, they push them off the pier into the water. There is nonsense going on in our government. There are a bunch of twits that don't know come here from Sikkim. And that's the end of my little diatribe for this morning. I got to pay some bills here real quick, and I want to remind you about Valley-Wide Home and Ranch having a lovebird sale. Oh, golly. Oh, gee. Pucker up, Gomer. Hey, they're going to have a big lovebird sale. Yes, that's right. Win a lovebird evening for two. $50 gift certificate and a one-night stay at the historic downtown Drift Inn in Rupert for two. Oh, yeah. Kind of reach across the table and hold hands in the candlelight. And then, cut your prime rib, and then don't make it all the way through, and then it splashes in the au jus, and it goes all over the table. I did that. Anyway, all the clothing, jewelry, belts, slippers, 25% off. They've got everything over there for Valentine's Day, gift giving, and the lovebird sale. Get over and register today at Valley-Wide Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Really good, folks. Holy mackerel, where'd all these dogs come from?
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
Where in the world are all these German Shepherds coming from? And now we got a dachshund over here that's playing with one of my autographed footballs. Get these dogs out of here. What's going on, Ken Moore? Take care of your dogs.
Hey, Zeb. Good morning. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. I got all sorts of stuff for you today.
Oh, good heavens. Take it away.
All right. Today we want to feature Baxter.
Uh-huh.
He is a 8 to 10 month old black lab retriever cross. He's got the black longer hair. He's got white on his chest and toes. He's good with kids and other dogs. Has been started on the house training. He was an owner surrender, and he's available for adoption. Real sweetheart of a dog, wants to play and everything. So, I mean, if anybody's interested, they can reach us at the facility at 438-2200 or can reach me on my cell phone at 670-7268. I mean, like I say, he's a real loving pup and is really needing a good forever home.
Okay, now, his name is Baxter.
Yeah.
And I used to have a dog named Baxter.
Retriever cross.
And he's a what kind of a cross?
Black lab retriever.
Oh, okay. And he loves kids.
He's about the good age and stuff and that to be able to start training for the waterfowl on that hunting seasons.
Okay. And he's ready to go.
Yes, he is. He's available for adoption today. So,
okay.
And if anybody's interested in stuff, all they got to do is get in contact with us.
All right. Now, that's one thing. Now, what else have you got for us?
Well, I want to just let everybody know on that might not have heard yet. Smith's Food in Burley is doing a pet food drive, and they've got a bin between the entrance doors going into the store, and on that big box stuff and that, they've got signs that say, "Please help us help our Minidoka County Animal Shelter. We want to help them by donating any items that will help to take care of all the homeless animals that we have."
Okay.
And that we're moving to a new facility and need anything that can be donated to help.
All right.
i.e. pet food, pet bedding, pet toys, stuff like that. So.
Okay. Now, I would assume that would make it really easy, audience. Listen to me now. When you're going shopping over to Smith's, all you have to do is go by the dog food section and say, they need help. I'll throw a bag on the old cart here, go through, pay for it, and then dump it in the box on the way out, right?
Exactly. And that's their whole intentions. I mean, they're wanting to do everything they can to help us get what we need and also be able to help us get moved.
Okay.
We're also on that looking for volunteers on not this weekend but the following weekend to help with painting at the new site that we're going to be moving to. And that we've got lots of painting that needs to be done, some cleaning stuff that needs to be done, and some moving stuff on that. So if anybody is interested in being able to volunteer to help out with that, they can contact me at 670-7268.
Okay, now wait a minute. Let's find this right down to the nitty-gritty. Where are you moving? What's the exact location and address?
Okay, it's the wastewater treatment facility on 50 West, 200 South. They're over by Rupert. And basically there's a couple of old buildings and stuff in that were actually the wastewater treatment offices before they got their new office and everything that we're getting along with another building and stuff in that to be able to house our larger dogs.
Okay. All right. And what items do you need now? I know you got on the radio and said, boy, you need a lot of like old bath towels and stuff like that. What else do you need?
Dog food, collars, leashes, old blankets. I mean, anything that's going to help make their lives comfortable while they're in our facility.
Okay. And again, give us the contact numbers.
It's 438-2200 or 670-7268.
All right. Anything else you want to lay on us this morning, Officer Mort?
I would just like to remind everybody out there who has furry friends, Annette, with the temperatures outside, I mean, it is extremely cold. This morning and stuff, Annette, when I was checking the weather around our area, Annette, it was telling me it was like 4 degrees above, but it really feels like 18 below. Mm-hmm. Make sure and stuff, Annette, that your dogs are either inside or have got a good warm place to get in out of this cold weather. Even some of your longer-haired dogs, Annette, will freeze to death.
Right.
So make sure you're taking care of. Make sure they've got heated bowls with fresh water. I mean, even not just necessarily your dogs and cats, Annette, but any farm animals you've got and stuff, Annette, that you've got some sort of a heated trough and stuff in that so they can actually get a drink of water.
Well, they need more water actually in the wintertime than they do in the spring and summer.
Yeah, see, and people don't realize and stuff, Annette, that just because it's cold outside, Annette, you'll dehydrate just as fast, if not faster, in colder weather than you will in hot weather.
That's exactly right. You're right on top of it.
Same way with animals.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my dear friend, Minidoka Animal Control Officer Mort, Ken Mort, my dear friend. God bless you. And is there anything else real quick before I have to run?
No, that's it. Just remember, if you guys are wanting to volunteer, give us a call. We're always looking for volunteers and stuff and that to help out with us getting moved.
All right. Who let the dogs out?
Dogs out! Who let the dogs out?
Officer Ken Mort, Minidoka Animal Control. I tell you what, there is a good old boy right there, and everybody help contribute, please. He's working really hard. Yes, he is. Hey, let's ride. Highway 24 between Rupert and Burley, open Tuesdays through Saturdays, 9 to 6, and boy, you open the front door of that showroom, and you're just going to go, whoa, wow, look at this, Martha. They've got ATVs. I don't know how they got everything in there. I don't, because, I mean, they've got every model, every color. They've got street bikes, dirt bikes, snow machines, ATVs, all the accessories. Holy mackerel. You got to follow the little bitty paths all over. I mean, they've just got it loaded for you to come in and find what you're looking for. And along with that, a great parts department. All these guys can fix anything at that parts and service department. Why don't you stop in today? Let's ride Highway 24 between Rupert and Burley. That is where the fun is sold. I guarantee it. Well, I always look forward to Thursdays because I get a chance to talk to a very nice lady, and she sometimes is very quiet and shy and hardly ever wants to break out of her shell and give her opinion. Here she is, Rita Ramsey. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
I am good, except I am frustrated. I think you and I should quit this afternoon at 3 o'clock and just rely on the government dole and the subsidies, and everybody will follow the yellow brick road to happiness.
Yeah, if that's really where it led us, that would be wonderful, but it won't, so that's why we're still chugging along, huh?
Yeah, but Rita, are we the stupid people? Are we the ones that need to have our heads examined because we're getting up out of bed, in my case, 3:45 in the morning at 66 years of age and I'm still working, and the government is telling people to quit their full-time jobs? Oh, spend more time with the kids. Don't worry about your income. Don't worry about your health insurance. We'll give you a subsidy. It's all taken care of by the government.
Well, this is exactly why we have got to make some changes in our parties, and it's not just the Democrats who lean more towards this than the Republicans, but the Republicans aren't making a big enough deal about it. Some of them need to go home, and there's a bunch of them, and it's got to change. there's just too much of this. Let us take care of everything, keep our power, and just keep sending money into us. Don't hold us accountable. And by the way, when something goes wrong, we're not going to scream and holler and make a big deal about it because we don't want anybody to get on our case.
I have never in my life been, and I mean this when I say this, been more ashamed of how and what our country is becoming than I am right now. When we would tell people that the government actually is advocating that you take away from a full-time job and become dependent for the subsidies on your health insurance through the government. Rita, where in the world are we headed with the lack of tax money that's not going to go through the tills, and people like you and I that are working, we're stuck with the bill?
Well, we are, and the part that just really makes you sick about it is that when something like that happens, you would think that all of the conservatives in the Senate and the House would be just screaming to high heaven. I mean, they said, well, are you saying that this is what it is? You know what? They should have been on top of this and had a huge press conference and all of them standing together and saying, we are not going to let this happen. This is not going to go forward. We're going to stop it, and, on and on and on with what they're planning to do to take care of it. Instead, it's kind of like, oh, is this what you're saying? Paul Ryan says, so you're saying that it's going to be better to not work and there'd be more money in the economy. How can you say that? He should know better than to ask questions like that. He should be making statements saying, this, and this are the things that need to be done, not that, it's not going to work, and dismiss it and let the American people know that they're out doing something. But guess what? That's not the plan of the Republicans or the Democrats. It's kind of like, well, let's just kind of go along here and see what we can do. Just one offshoot of that is that you've got the old Republicans, and they want to just stay in their little comfort zone and keep everything going good. This Brian Smith, who's running for Congress in Idaho, he can't get forums with the Republican groups around the state in our district, for audiences, because they have shut him out and said, no, we're for Sampson.
Yeah.
And all they're saying is we don't want to change.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But here we have the incompetency, and if Republicans are offended by this, good. Here we have the incompetency, the illiteracy, and the good old boy network that is destroying the two-party system in this country right now. The Republicans, and I'm going to say this, and I want to see if you're going to respond in kind. The Republicans have lost their backbone. The Republicans have lost their stand up for what's right and take a poke in the nose and then deliver one back. They've lost the attitude of, well, now wait a minute, you've got your road that you're traveling on. You believe in this, well, we're going to stay firm over here. I am sick and tired of the wishy-washy attitude of the Republicans and the infighting, which is hurting all of us here in the United States.
Well, no, I agree 100%. I was talking to Dorothy a little bit earlier on. She was giving me some of the information of our Tea Party meetings, and because we're starting to do campaign, people who are campaigning and stuff. And she said that Brian Smith's going to be here in Burley on the 19th at the city of Burley, but she said that she had lined up a thing in the Minidoka County Republican Party for them to have him come, and they said, yeah, that would be fine. We'll have him, come and kind of give a little question answer for him and that. They called him back and said, no, we don't want him to come. We're for Simpson.
But wait a minute.
Well,
wait a minute.
You've got a whole county. Why would you not entertain both?
Why in the world are they making decisions for the voting public just because of their own biased opinion? That really infuriates me, Rita.
My point exactly, and now I'm kind of wondering how Kasia feels about that. I would have thought that the Republican Party would say, you know what, if there's a challenger, we need to hear both.
Absolutely.
But no, we don't want him. We can't have him. We're not going to have him come to our meeting. So we're just going to cancel it.
Why is there a fear? Why is there a fear of Mike Simpson not getting reelected? And I'm going to put this out there. And I don't give a rip about any Republican being upset at me. Why is there a fear about Mike Simpson not getting reelected? He has done many, many things and has stood for many, many things that Idahoans don't want. White Cloud's issue being one with me. And then also on some personal matters with Mike and I as to why we don't get along regarding the Muslims back in Washington, D.C. in the Obama cabinet. I want answers, and I think it's all the better to have Simpson standing here and Smith standing here. Let's get to the bottom of it. But one thing I will not tolerate is when groups of people shun somebody else out because their opinion outweighs the general consensus of the public. And that's what you just told me.
Well, the thing of it is, this particular group is supposed to be the ones who are representing the people of Minidoka County. And why is it to them to say we're only going to see one person's view and try to shut the other one out?
That's frustrating.
That's what's absolutely just crazy.
That is frustrating.
That's my wildest dreams.
Is there a way that after the program you can give me their numbers and names that are in charge, and I'm going to ask them to come on the program and explain why they feel that they're the God in deciding who we're going to hear and who we're not going to hear?
I can get that information for you. I do not have it written down here, but I can get it.
Good, get it, because I'm not embarrassed to call anybody.
Yeah, the other thing I was going to say about this Brian Smith thing, anybody who is thinking that we need a change in our representatives, they're going to have to start voting with their pocketbook. This guy is going to have to raise some money so that he can continue and do what he needs to do so that we can get a new representative. And so I would encourage any listener to do what you can do. You know, if it's only just a few dollars, if you can let loose with $10 or whatever you feel like that you can do, you need to get it to his campaign and help him with the money so that he can continue on. He will be here in the city of Burley on February 19th at the, in the place where we have our Tea Party meetings, which is in the, it's the City Council chambers.
Yeah.
He will be there for a question and answer, and maybe you can gather up a few dollars or a few dollars from some of the people that you associate with, have them do whatever they can, and come to that meeting. Bring your pocketbook if you can and donate something. If not, maybe you can be feet on the ground and do something if you can't donate monetarily. But we have got to get him elected so that we can have a different person. The national people who are wanting conservative voters are targeting Mike Simpson of Idaho, of all things, to get him out of office. So he must have a pretty bad record, according to a lot of other people besides just us.
I'm going to say this, and again, I speak from the heart, and if people don't like it, they've got two choices. They can either call and complain or they can do nothing. But I've looked at the candidacies that we've had the last couple of years, and I look at Chick Hylison against Mike Simpson, and I look at Brian Smith against Mike Simpson, and there's no comparison. There is no comparison. Chick Hylison was a very nice man, but he was a very introverted man and didn't know how to propel himself out in front of the public and become better known. He did a very poor job of promotion. This man, Brian Smith, answered all the questions on my program last week, was very articulate about the problems and everything else going on, and I honestly feel what you say is 100% correct.
Well, I think that we need to really push forward with him, but we're going to have to do it with our checkbooks, because if they don't have money, and you know that Simpson will have all kinds of money from the national Republicans, besides a lot of these special interest people. And, you said you were opposed to the White Cloud thing. Well, it wasn't that he was so much for it. It was that he had some constituents that had a big pocketbook that were for it, and that's where it went. And those were the people up in the Haley-Sun Valley area.
Yeah, and I might point out by interrupting right here this morning, and pardon my rude interruption, but I want to also point out that last hour we had the governor on the program, and Fred Preston called and asked that same question about White Clouds to the governor, and Butch was very emphatic about no more monument status lands in the state of Idaho. So Mike Simpson's proposals and stand on White Clouds goes against the grain of not only the constituents in Idaho, but also the governor.
Well, and the bad part about that is if they're divided, then he actually ends up canceling out the other conservatives' vote, and we don't have a vote at all because he actually cancels out Labrador's vote many times.
I just am still mad. I'm still mad, though, to think that there's for lack of better terminology, a stifling, a silencing of voices that are of people that are running for a various position. When you said that, you still got me mad.
Well, it should make all of us mad. We should be so mad that we'd be out there saying, hey, we're going to just show you. We're going to get him elected. We're going to put up the money we need to put up. We're going to put the feet on the ground. We're going to get him to meetings. We are going to talk to our neighbors. We've got to do something or we're not going to end up getting him elected, and it's all in our hands. We're just going to have to do it.
All right, caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes. My concern is, we don't like what's going on back in Washington, and to change that, we got to send different people back there. Mike Simpson is nothing but a lapdog for John McCain and the rhinos that are running things back there that are getting us in so much trouble, and we've got to make a change. And I think Smith is a very viable candidate, and I support him 100%.
All right, sir. Thank you for your call. Rita, respond, please.
No, I think he's absolutely right. Simpson is not our voice anymore. He's just echoing what others want him to do back there. He's not representing Idaho's true conservative values, and that's why we need to bring him back home and let him take up with whatever his profession was. I think he was a dentist or something. I'm not sure.
But the
let
point,
him come back to his regular making a living.
But the point that you made earlier is the point that I think is the most important, and that is let's listen to both of them. Let's make a definitive decision from hearing both voices at maybe the same forum. But don't anybody judge for us who we're going to listen to or not listen to.
Well, you would think that the Republican Party would be interested in getting a Republican conservative elected, and especially in this area, which I thought, and I still think, that is the most conservative area in the United States. Southern Idaho is. And why in the world we would have somebody who is not voting conservative is beyond me. And so when you have these people who are saying, no, we're going to have him or whatever, and we actually asked this question to Representative Bedke and Senator Cameron, what about this? We need to get Simpson out of here. One of the guys from the Tea Party said, we need to get Simpson out. We need to get somebody at this Brian Smith elected. Simpson's got a lot of pull back there. Mm-hmm. We really need to have a voice that can do something for Idaho, and you get these new people in, and they just have to start over, and it's kind of like, well, okay, you're in his camp too.
Yeah, but
you're not willing to hear anybody else.
Yeah, but wait a minute. That bucket doesn't hold a lot of water with me, and I'm going to tell you why. Let me just throw one name at you that defies that last statement that you made. Ted Cruz.
Absolutely.
Brand spanking new and made a lot of big ripples in the water. Did he not?
Well, and what about Louis Gohmert from Texas?
Absolutely.
His first term was just in 2010, and so it's kind of like, hello? He was brand new. He's on the National Security Committee and everything else. He has a voice. The thing of it is, if you start getting rid of all the ones who supposedly have the voice, somebody has to fill those positions, and it can be the new people that are conservative.
Absolutely. This is why I get so frustrated. So frustrated when people say, "Oh, I got to stay with a good old boy because he's on this committee and he's." Wait a minute. I've seen younger people, new people, come into the Potomac area and tip it on its ear. I don't care if it's Ted Cruz. I don't care if it's Louis Gohmert. I don't care if it's Marco Rubio. I don't care. They went in there with one idea, and that's to become known and work for their constituents. And the same could happen from the state of Idaho, Rita.
It should, and we need to hold that as a standard.
I agree. Caller, good morning. Quickly, you're on the air.
Oh, yeah. If people want to give money to Brian, don't give it to the Republican committee, because they won't give him any money at all. And if they want to donate to Freedom Works. And also go to freedomworks.org and ask them to give him some money.
All right, caller. Appreciate your call and comment. Rita, you want to respond? Go ahead, please.
Actually, that's an excellent point. You could give to them. However, you can actually give to his own campaign. I would think he can still keep those funds. So either direction. Freedom Works is trying to get Simpson removed. They're one of the national ones. They're working hard on that, and they have a lot of national money. And I would say just, give to them or to him directly, because you don't want to give to the Republican Party is exactly right, because it will not filter to him.
All right, we've got to take a weather update real quick with MichaelRogersWeather.com. We'll be back with more with Rita Ramsey in just a moment. Michael, please.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. Be careful what you ask for. You may get it. Where am I going with this? Well, you need the moisture. This is one way you're going to get it. And oh, by the way, you're going to get this, what you got on the ground, all the way through the weekend. Now, the good news is that you'll be warming up into the 40s by the weekend. Right now, you're going to top out today. You're going to struggle to get to possibly 25, maybe 27. Should be about an inch on the ground before it's over, said and done. Be careful as you're driving today, and have a great day. Enjoy the weather. Don't know whether you got.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. Rita, I want to shift gears just a little bit and go into another aspect of politics this morning. You know that I don't like Bill O'Reilly. You know that I think he's a bloviating, sometimes misinformed individual that just uses his size and his blowhardiness to get his point over the other person. But that being said, I do give compliments where compliments are deserved, and I thought that for a very short 11-minute interview during the Super Bowl Sunday in painting, and I think he did it very professionally, painting Obama into a corner on three different topics, Obamacare, the IRS, and Benghazi, I thought it was a very worthwhile and serving interview for the American public, because Obama painted himself into a corner on each one because of his deflecting any of the responsibility and passing the buck and blaming a news network for his troubles. What were your thoughts?
Well, actually, I thought the same thing, and I wasn't even going to watch it, and then my curiosity got the best of me, so I did have to find it and watch it. I was really, really impressed with what he did, because I was afraid he'd just kind of do the regular thing, and he hasn't seemed like that he was going to hold people responsible. But when he asked Obama those questions, and the president just kind of either deflected him or decided, well, the way that Obama has press conferences or questions is he answers a question that takes 20 minutes so that he doesn't have to answer the next one, but he doesn't say anything. And so O'Reilly kept him moving along, and when he wouldn't answer him, he'd say, well, okay, we need to get to, and he'd do the next thing. So I thought that was really good. But for him to ask the questions, and then the president wouldn't give him the answers, and he pressed for it, I was really impressed. And the thing that was good about it is that he reopened some of those topics that aren't being talked about anywhere, so that people know that those things are still going on. The president will not answer questions about them, and the president feels no responsibility whatsoever for them, and therefore it's not a moot point anymore. So I think it was good. I was impressed.
Well, the one thing that stuck out more than most of the comments that were made by Obama was when he was pressed by O'Reilly about the IRS, and he said, no, Bill, there's not a smidgen of corruption. And right there I looked at my wife, and I said, why, Deanne, are they still involved in an investigatory type mode to trying to figure out why the Tea Party and everybody else had so much trouble with the IRS? Why are they spending the money? Why do they have the investigators going on? And the president makes a comment as if the case is closed. There wasn't a smidgen of corruption. The man absolutely stepped on his nose on that one.
Well, he not only stepped on his nose, but he let you know there is corruption, because apparently he has let it be known how it will turn out. And that's corruption.
But when
for him to say there wasn't any, he just proved that there is.
Absolutely, but when you look at the other topics and how he tried to gloss over, and then when O'Reilly mentioned about Obamacare, and Obama, with his cute little smile and his tilt of the head, said, well, we had some trouble when it started, but now everything's running well. Rita, they don't even have some of the website designed yet, and it's running well?
That was a bold-faced lie. No, it's really a sad deal when nobody will hold him accountable, and I did think that O'Reilly did a pretty good job of it, and hopefully stirred up the waters enough to where the American people will start, asking a few more questions. They're hoping they can gloss all of this over so that by October we're not thinking about any of this stuff, and they can just glide on in with their elections and maybe increase in the Senate, or at least keep what they have, or at least not lose enough to be a problem. But if we've got to keep on it, we've got to keep asking questions, and people have got to get informed so that they know what the answers are, and then talk to their neighbors, because our country is in bad shape when it comes to the government. They are just rolling over us, and we're just letting them do it.
Rita, I wished I had more time because I've got commitments on some advertising that I have to take care of in just a moment. But when you look at the situation of basically trying to enhance unemployment or a lack of employment in this country, and then go on government dole, which is nothing more than a proposal and a leaning towards socialism, and you look at everything else that's going on, and yesterday Dr. Elena George was on my program, and she was almost literally crying, talking about Obamacare, and everything she said a year ago about Obamacare and its inception is coming true. We're in trouble. We're in trouble, and the public had better get their head out of the sand and realize we've got to do something in 2014 to alleviate some of this problem.
That's right. We are in trouble, and if we don't start doing something, we are going to see the Constitution go down the river, and we aren't going to even be able to say, well, the Constitution says I can do something, because they'll have it all glossed over and down the street, and we're not even worrying about that because we're under this kind of control. So it's imperative that we get involved in these elections that are upcoming. It's imperative that people vote with their checkbooks, and if you are favorable to a particular candidate, give them a donation. If you cannot have pizza night one night, and give them the money for pizza for just that one night. If everybody gave him pizza money for one night, he'd have enough money to do what he needed to do. So we just need to help these people and get informed with them. Tea Party's got our meeting next week. We're going to have a Skype with John Einen, who is running for the state superintendent of schools, and he'll be on that. And then the following month at the Little Theater, we're having all of the candidates are being invited, those who are running, and we'll have Brian Smith and Russ Fulcher and there's a number of others that I don't have their names right here fast, but okay. I'll have that for you a little bit later. But people need to attend these, get informed, and please vote with your checkbook. Let's help get Brian Smith to replace Simpson. I mean, if that's the choice that we want, and I see that it is in what I would like.
I got to run. I'm running late. Rita Ramsey, God bless you. Thanks for being on the program this morning.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very, very much. Holy cow, we got to get going, and I got to tell everybody that this time of the morning, everybody's probably a little hungry and starving to death. Well, you better stop in to Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Check out the Southern Baked Burrito, either soft shell or grilled shell. It is good. You're going to love it. Southern Baked Burrito. Try it today, along with all the other great products right there at Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Well, as we take our tour around great places to go to eat, don't forget Burgers, etc. 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 North Overland in Burley. 2 locations. And listen to this. Corn dogs and burritos, 99 cents after 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And all the hamburgers and the cheeseburgers and the taco salads. Anything you can think of, it's going to be fantastic. Always is at Burgers, etc. in Rupert and Burley. How about we go over to Steve-O's right now real quick at 296 South, 600 west of Heyburn. Food made the way you like it. Hot homemade soup made fresh every day. Jalapeno burgers with lots of spicy peppers. And Steve's nacho fries. And, of course, don't forget the pork chops with salad and choice of spuds. Oh, it is good. And friendly servers, dedicated staff at Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 west of Heyburn. You stop in today. How about this one? The AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Oh, they got the kids' basket, either chicken or hamburger or cheeseburger with pickles and ketchup and a small fry, only $3.50. Holy mackerel! And a 3-piece fish and chips with small fry, only $7 1/4. And the famous Farmer Brown burgers and all the different shakes. What are you waiting on? Get in the car. Head that way right now, 601 East Main in Burley. It is the AC Drive-In. And those are just a few great places to go if you're hungry and starving to death. Now, coming up next hour, we're going to be talking to Brent Lee at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. And then, of course, we have with us this morning the principal at Declo Junior High, Scott Mueller, is going to be on the program for Cache School Days. And then at 10:30 this morning, we've got a former Navy SEAL, Jason Redmond, that has written the book called The Trident. I have not had a chance to read the book. It's still en route, but I've read the excerpts. It's going to be outstanding, so don't miss that coming up at 10:30 this morning. We're going to take a little break in just a moment. Gina's over at the main studio. What's it doing? Snowing over there, or what's happening?
I'm peeking outside. No snow, but it is overcast, and it is a little bit breezy outside.
Okay, got a busy weekend planned?
No. And I'm going to keep it that way.
Just going to work?
Pretty much. I do have to come in and do a little bit of work here at the studio, and I think I might head up to Jerome because we're in the middle of painting a car for me.
Oh, and by the way, I know exactly, my radar is tuned in as to where James lives. I can't miss that Ford. It is a Ford out there, a pickup, isn't it?
A 1931 Ford pickup.
That's what I thought. That is something of a memory right there, I'll guarantee you.
Isn't it, though? And honestly, that used to be the old Ford parts pickup for the Ford dealership that used to be in Twin Falls.
Really? I'll be there. All right, well, listen, kiddo, I'll talk to you in a little bit, 6 minutes from now. Hey, we'll be back, Zeb at the Ranch. Oh, my. Welcome back, hour number 3, Zeb at the Ranch, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And, of course, our thanks also to Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. And our friends at, of course, Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. And let us not waste a second. Let us just run down the street right now into 459 Overland. And here is Mr. Brent Lee.
Zeb, we're back from Furniture Market, and we've got some wonderful ideas, some new looks to share with you today.
Well,
can I give you some examples?
I can't wait, and it's good to have you back, by the way. Thank you.
Thank you. Good to be back. I should say, one of the things that we have prepared here in the store, and we're giving some real special emphasis, and that is rooms to go, and that is you can come in and you can see an entire room displayed and set up and especially priced. And so we've put together some special packages. The first one is what we call the silver package, and just for $6.99 you can get a 2-piece living room sofa and love seat. Great looks, great values, a variety of fabrics and materials to choose from. The next one is the gold package at $8.99, and that's a 5-piece living room group where you can pick out your sofa, love seat, a cocktail table, and 2 ends. And there's not just one choice to choose from. We have a variety of those end tables and a variety of the sofas and loves.
Oh, my.
That's the silver and the gold package. Guess what the third package is?
Oh, the bronze.
The platinum.
Oh, okay.
The platinum package is $9.99, and that's an 8-piece living room group. That's a sofa, a love seat, cocktail and 2 end tables, 2 lamps, and an area rug. That's a lot of furniture for $8.99.
Oh my goodness, yes. Now, I want to ask you a little bit about my pillow. I love my pillow. I want to get this in. Absolutely a wonderful pillow. New advanced technology with the memory foam. Wow. I can say this because it's true. I feel like Linus in the Peanuts cartoons. I'm carrying my pillow all over with me.
You've gotten very attached, and I don't blame you one bit. Thanks for mentioning that. We invite everyone to come in, and as you test rest one of our Simmons mattress beds, you can try that wonderful My Pillow, and you can have your own pillow. That's a memory foam pillow that adjusts and conforms, takes off the pressure points of your head, your neck, and that area, and really enables you to get into a little deeper REM sleep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, come in and glad to hear that you've had success with yours and you're finding some enjoyment.
Well, I take it all over with me, literally, from the bedroom to the living room to my geezer chair. I use it here in my office when I'm on the air. I'll tell you what, there's no doubt about it. I love My Pillow.
Oh, that's wonderful. In addition to My Pillow, come in and we have some wonderful buys right now and a special promotion that Simmons is participating with us. Come in, we'll help you find the right mattress of your choice, whether it be for the guest room or the master bedroom, and then, in addition, make that special buy, and then take your choice of a free Hollywood bed frame to go with that bed, or a free set of sheets, or a free mattress protector. We have some wonderful gifts to give you as you take a test rest, and we guarantee you a better night's rest.
Absolutely. Well, tell everybody where you're located and what your hours are.
We're at 459 Overland Avenue, right here in downtown Burley, and we're here from 9 until 6, Monday through Friday, 10 to 5 on Saturday, and always closed on Sundays.
When you were gone for quite a length of time, did you have to call the office to find out directions how to get back to work?
I just put the car on cruise control, and it knew right where to come.
Hey, it's good to have you back. Good to talk to you. My dear friend Brent Lee at Lee's Furniture, Floors and More, 459 Overland and Burley. Love My Pillow. You will, too. Stop in and see him.
Make it a great day as well.
All right, thanks. Take care, Brent.
Bye-bye.
Nice people over there. Absolutely. Say, listen, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, too, another great place to go eat. Oh, yeah. The Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main Street in Burley. You're going to love it, I'll guarantee you. You're going to stop in today and you can have meatloaf with choice of potato and veggies and super salad. They've got specials every day. And the environment, all the pictures, all the sports authorities, everything in there. Oh, you're going to love the place. Nice people. Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley. You stop in and see them today. Well, ladies and gentlemen, right now, and we started this program a couple of months ago, and I've been very, very excited as to how it's turned out. We've got a lot of interest in it, and the program segment is called School Days in Cassia County, and it's brought to you by two of our great sponsors, A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley, and of course, right now, don't forget to check out all the Smoothie hairbrushes that you've seen advertised, put an end to all the tears and the tangled hair, and don't forget they've got all the cute spring dresses coming in, and they've got the boppy pillows, and they've got all the Roby shoes for the infants. They've got everything at A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley. And also our friends at Ambulatory Surgery Center, 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. Do not forget, the Surgery Center, people save usually half on their outpatient surgery bills, and they have a board-certified gastro doctor who does colonoscopies, and please remember, a colonoscopy can save your life. Call them today, 677-8888, Ambulatory Surgery Center, 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. And let's go to the phone line right now and talk to the principal at Declo Junior High. I believe it's his first year there, and now he's going to be a radio star. Good morning, Scott Muir. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. I'm fine. How are you?
How's everything in education today, my friend?
That's a loaded question.
Yeah, it is.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. It's a great time to be in education with all the changes and the things that are happening.
Now, you're the first year over at Declo Junior High. How many years have you been in education?
This is my 20th year in education. I taught for 6 years, and then I was an assistant principal for 7, and this will be actually, even though it's my first year in Declo, it's my 7th year as a principal at a middle school.
Well, now,
junior high.
on a little bit of the cheat sheet that Debbie Critchfield sent me, you've got kind of a innovative, new way of thinking about how to treat students, and you treat them, the students, kind of like I treat my sponsors as business clientele. Maybe you better explain that.
Yeah. Oftentimes, and in my article I stated there's a lot of people out there that believe that a school needs to be run like a business. And in one aspect, I agree with that, and that is that we need to treat our students as though they're our clientele in a business. And why is that? Because they're the ones that we are teaching. They're the ones that, obviously are sitting in our classrooms, coming to school every day, and that's our charge as educators, is to be able to teach these kids and get them to the point where they can advance to the next grade level, advance to higher education.
Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of people are going to sit there and say, wait a minute, teaching kids and treating students as clientele as if they were a business clientele, how do you do that and still maintain a level of respect?
Well, and that's it. And then that's where you can't really define and say, in my mind, that they're specifically clientele. But what I like to say is this, that as the teacher or as a client walks into the business, what is the first thing that happens? There's a salesperson there, right?
Absolutely.
And that attention is directly focused on the customer for a potential sell.
Mm-hmm.
In that successful business, that consumer receives that immediate helpful assistance. And so we have to take that into consideration in the education system, is that like that client or that person walking into the business, you want to make sure you're treating them the best that you can. And so when a student walks into my school, I want them to feel like they are somebody, that they are part of the school, that our attention is directed to them, not the curriculum, not all the changes that we make in the world towards education, but that student feels that they are and I want that student to feel like he or she is probably the most important in that classroom, even though we may have a classroom size of 25 to 30 kids.
No, I can relate to what you're saying, and I respect it. I really respect the concept. Going back into my high school years, way back, Scott, when we still used to circle the wagons at night to protect ourselves from all kinds of foes, I had a math teacher that absolutely was so aloof and so out of touch that when the bell rang to start the class, he would stand up and give his verbiage and go through everything on the chalkboard, but the minute the bell was ringing for the end of the class, it was as if, please leave the facility so a new class can get in. Now, I did not like mathematics. I didn't care for the class, and it showed in my grades. And in order to become, I think, more approachable, this man, when I wanted to ask questions, it was kind of like a shuttle service. Get out the door, make room for somebody else. And that, I think, is a major problem with not only where I went to high school, but many schools. They don't understand that kids have got questions that they don't want to ask in front of the rest of the class.
Right. And that's, funny you bring that up, Zeb, because we were at some training yesterday, Idaho Leads, and one of the great things that they talked about yesterday in one of the little breakout sessions that we had is the I do, which would be the teacher side of it. And so you're talking about the lecture, the presentation of the material. Mm-hmm. The we do, now this is different. That modeling that you do with the students in the classroom together. And then the you do, which is the you do together, students collaborating next to each other. In other words, I might be that same student that you're talking about, that I'm embarrassed to raise my hand in front of my 7th grade peers because I don't want to look stupid, and that's huge in the middle school level. They don't want to look silly in front of their peers. But for whatever reason, you give them an opportunity to sit at that desk or at that table and discuss back and forth with their peers. Now there's questions that they're being asked. Mm-hmm. And then the last part of that is that I do personally, and that's the homework side of it. So there's two things that we insert into there nowadays that I think are highly important for students to be able to feel successful and feel comfortable in asking those questions. And it may just be back and forth amongst peers. Gives the teacher an opportunity to walk around the classroom and listen to that discussion, redirect or correct where he or she needs to.
Do you think, Scott, today teachers are better trained and are more cognizant and observant of students that may be a little inhibited about asking a question, and so they go home, they can't do their homework, they come back, the class assignment's incomplete? Are they more cognizant today than they were 30, 40 years ago?
I'm hoping we are. I really do. I think that's a struggle that we're going to have in our profession a lot, and that's not to say anything negative towards teachers. I just think that at times that there's so many things that are laid on our shoulders that there's a lot that we're thinking about. We tend to forget about our client, and that's why I wrote this article the way I did, is because I want us to be able to think, even though we've got these state mandates, even though we've got Idaho Core, even though we've got all of these new changes, we still have to look at the student sitting in the desk and making sure that we're differentiating or helping the instruction for them individually.
I just think that, and I'm going back to my high school education and then before I went to college, but I just think that there were too many teachers that I can remember in high school that it was just kind of an assembly line. And they picked out some of their favorites in the class because they were open and amenable and accepting the concept that the teacher was trying to put forth. And the teacher thought, well, if they got it, that's all I need to do. I don't have to worry about anybody else. And they're still probably in a classroom with 25 or 30 kids, there might have been as many as 10 kids that were completely lost in the dark, and those are the ones that the teacher should have noticed and given the special attention to.
Absolutely. And that's why we've got to create programs. That's part of my job as an administrator, is to be able to, and you're going to hear data-driven, because that's the big thing nowadays as well, is, we've got these state tests, we've got these new curriculums, but the data is what's supposed to be looked at and aggregated so that we can talk with students and really dial down the concerns that we have.
Absolutely.
And as an administrator, like I say, that's part of my responsibility, is to be able to visit with those teachers on a regular basis, look at this data and say, okay, why do we have a hole here? And what students are those students that need that extra help, and what can we do to help them?
Scott, one of the...
Get that data and dial it down. It makes sense that that's what we've got to do.
Absolutely. One of the things that I'm very critical about education today, and I started criticizing it with the No Child Left Behind, and you can tear my thesis apart here, but I'm going to go ahead and expound on it for a moment anyway, because I own the show. But I honestly believe that education fell into a rut from the teacher and the administration standpoint of not forcing and allowing the better students to reach for higher goals and basically reach for the sky. I felt like they were inhibited somewhat under the No Child Left Behind.
And I agree with you. And I'm going to continue to say that in my opinion as well, with all these, and I'm careful to say it, but I'm going to say it the way I see it, is those unfunded mandates that come down from the state.
Yes.
There are those things that do constrain us at times, tie our wrists together, and we're expected to do more with less. And that's my biggest challenge. I will support you on that, but I would also add that we are doing what we can with what we're given. I do agree that there's always room for improvement in our educational system, and one of them is that we've got to reach down to those kids and really work with them. No Child Left Behind, as educators, if you'd asked them when that first came out, overwhelmingly they would have told you that's going to be a difficult thing to do. And it put us into a panic for several years, and then they began to realize, okay, this is probably something that we're not going to be able to accomplish, so we'll redo it as we do in education always. And I always laugh that we always just give it, we're not reinventing the wheel, we just give it a new acronym.
But you're basic...
and so there are some things that we do need to improve upon, but I also get a little disappointed when I hear that the education system in this country is not comparative to the rest of the world, and I would disagree with that, because I don't know many other places in the world that educate all students.
Absolutely. Scott, I'd like you to come back on in the future and we can talk more about this, but I love your concept about treating students as clientele, because you want, as a store owner or a business owner, a happy customer to keep coming back and wanting more. Well, the same can be said for education.
Exactly.
Well, thank you very much for your coming on the program this morning, and please know that you've got an open mic policy anytime you want to come back again. Scott Muir, principal at the Declo Junior High School, a great educator, and I appreciate your concepts. Thanks for coming on the program.
Zeb, thank you for giving me the opportunity, and good luck to you today.
All right, sir. Thank you. Nice gentleman right there, and I want to have him back on the show. Scott Muir with Declo Junior High. Nice man. Real nice man. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. It's beyond me why somebody would call me on my cell phone while I'm on the air, and they know I'm on the air. Can't quite figure that out. Gina. I was talking to you earlier, and you said you were going to look up some facts and figures. Did you get a chance to check on any of that during the break?
I have not yet. I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off.
Well, gee whiz. Oh, by the way, I wanted to tell you that Seattle had a huge, not just a big, but a huge parade yesterday in honor of the Seahawks. They closed the school. It was party time. I don't know how many hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people were involved, but I just wanted to let you know.
Well, and they also, according when I was flying back, they had renamed Mount Rainier to Mount Seattle for the week, and they had also renamed I-5 as Seattle Seahawks Parkway.
There you go. And I bet you can't even wait for next year.
I am so excited for next year, and hopefully they come out just as strong as they did this year, and you've got a phone call.
Just think, quickly before I take the call, just think how hard you're going to be to live with if the Seahawks repeat and the University of Idaho has a winning season.
You know, there was a couple players from the University of Idaho that are on the Seahawks team, and one of our former head coaches.
That's right.
As well.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, caller, good morning. All right, thank you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Jeff. This is your farmer friend from Kimberly.
Yes.
I just haven't been active on your program for a while, and I wanted to just see how you're addressing a couple of issues that are really significant and precedent-setting in especially Cache and Twin Falls counties.
All right, go ahead. What are they, Dave?
The first one has to do with this power line system that's going through Gate West or whatever it's called. And as I read in the paper, I've just got a little concerned that apparently Dennis Crane and some of the other county commissioners are being taken to task by some of the other citizens of the county because they're protecting some of the interests of a few with regard to property rights. That concerns me just a little bit that even though there are different interests in different parts of the counties, I think the counties, as it relates to all the citizens, need to be aggressively protective as it relates to private property rights.
Absolutely.
I just hope that whoever's attacking them could understand that, it may not be today that they're going to condemn your property and put a power line through that services only the gluts for power in California, but tomorrow it could be something else. And if you set this precedent, it could be damning to the community and to anybody's business.
Absolutely. Now,
that's just my personal take on there. I just worry about that mindset that is that way.
Well, let me just interrupt you for a quick second here before I run out of time on this break. I have had Doug Pickett, I've had others, and I've had more people coming on next week to talk about this issue with the Gateway West transmission lines. And I salute the county commissioners that are fighting this and standing up for the property owners. I think there's about 40 private property owners that are going to be involved in this, what I would call a heinous crime, if it's allowed to go through their property, when there are other directives and directions as to which this property line could take as far as laying the Gateway transmission line. And we're going to have a complete synopsis of programs starting, I think, next week or the week after in trying to fight this, Dave. So I just want to let you know we're on top of it, and we've had past programs.
Thank you, and your program is pivotal to helping the citizens of the county recognize that they really don't stand alone, and that's the part that concerned me is some would say, well, it's their problem. They have to fund the fight. And I think if you cave that way, then who's going to come to your rescue and who's going to come to your aid?
Absolutely.
As it relates specifically to property rights. So thank you, Zeb, for what you do there.
No, David, I thank you, and I really would appreciate it if you would schedule some time to come back on our program. You're excellent when it comes to different agricultural stories and things of interest that we need to be aware of. God bless you for your call, and I'll be in touch with you, okay?
Have a great day.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that call. That is one of the nicest people I've ever known, Dave Roper, and I'm going to get him back on the program. Hey, happy Valentine's Day from the bookstore at 515 5th Street in Rupert. Oh, did you hear what they've got over there? Caramel-filled chocolate hearts. Oh, they are good. And they've got fudge and all kinds of different flavors. I mean, you take your honey love, a little piece of that fudge, and one of those caramel-filled chocolate hearts. look out, you're in trouble. It's going to be great. Valentine's cards, books, all kinds of things. One-stop shopping for Valentine's Day at the bookstore for your lovey at 515 5th Street in Rupert. You stop in and see those great folks today. And then don't forget, too, while you're over in that neck of the woods, Mad River Laser, 700 South Oneida in Rupert. Oh, my goodness, they've got all the custom-made T-shirts. They can make custom-made T-shirts. They can do anything. They put together many, many things for my program, and very soon they're going to be starting up a brand-new clothing line for me with sweatshirts and caps and everything else. I'm telling you what, they are great. And they've got all the vinyl lettering, and they put together my Zeb at the Ranch steak knives. They do it all at Mad River Laser, 700 South Oneida Street in Rupert. They're going to be moving downtown on the square before too long, but stop in at the Oneida location, Mad River Laser. Nice, nice people. We're going to take a little break right now and send it back over to our main studios, and then when we come back, we're going to have the gentleman that wrote the book called The Trident, Jason Redman, on the program, former Navy SEAL. Don't go away.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
You know, over the years on this program, I've spent a lot of time with various authors of various books and tried to get into the heart and soul of what the book was, why they wrote it, etc. And when I heard about this book called The Trident, written by Jason Redman, some of the cheat sheet material which I was sent, kind of advanced information, the quote by Robert Gates, former Secretary of Defense, stuck out in my mind. And I want to read that before I introduce Jason to you this morning. There are already many books on the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. There will be more, included by those who experienced the fire of combat. This story, though, is not just about a SEAL on the Iraqi battlefield, but a SEAL at war with himself and his ultimate victory. I believe his story will inspire the reader just as it did me. When I saw that quote, I thought, not only do I have to have this young man on my program, but I must read this book. And I say good morning to Jason Redman. Sir, how are you?
I'm doing excellent today. How are you?
I am fine. Jason, I'm very impressed with the information that I've received about your book called The Trident. I cannot wait to read the book. I'm looking forward to it. Give a background as to why you wrote this book.
You know, I never really intended to write a book, Zeb. It just was something that just happened after I was wounded. 4 years in hospitals and hotels, getting put back together and recovering. And I think anytime you come that close to death, it causes you to become very reflective. And I just looked back on my life and I just started writing down just kind of a stream of consciousness on all the lessons I had learned and the things that I had seen. And that developed into about 200 pages that I shared with some friends. And they said, wow, you know, this is just great. You should do something with it. At that time, I was still active duty. And there's a little bit of controversy with a lot of the publicity that the SEAL teams are getting. So I took it to some of my leadership and I said, hey, is this something the community would support? And they took a look at it and they said, absolutely. It's very humble. It shares lessons. It doesn't get into classified information. So they supported it, and I got connected with an agent, and suddenly it turned into a book.
Absolutely. Now, Jason, explain to me and my audience why the title, The Trident. What does that mean exactly?
So the Trident is the warfare insignia device for the U.S. Navy SEAL teams. And with a lot of our notoriety, it's become a very recognizable device. It's also a very large insignia device. For not only the Navy, but throughout the military. It's also very, very difficult to earn. Individuals who go to SEAL training, we have about a 75% attrition rate just to graduate the basic SEAL training. And then from there, there's advanced training. And before you ever truly earn your Trident and become an official Navy SEAL. So that's why we decided to call the book The Trident. And it was also my journey as a young man probably having romantic views of what it is to be a warrior, what it is to wear that emblem, to the end of my career now, where I look at that emblem much differently. It represents a lot of the sacrifice that I've seen along the way. I've attended almost 50 memorials and funerals for fellow SEALs we've lost since 9/11.
Jason, a lot of kids, when they're in their teens, early teens, 13, 14, some want to be in the NBA, some want to play in the NFL, some want to play for the Atlanta Braves. But at a very young age, it says to me here on this sheet that you always wanted to be a Navy SEAL. Why?
I grew up in a military family. My both grandfathers fought in World War II. My dad's father was very decorated B-24 pilot. My great uncle was shot down in the Pacific and made the ultimate sacrifice. So it was just something I was raised with, the idea of service. And at a young age, my dad told me about the SEAL teams, and I had lived in the Virgin Islands off and on between my parents. I'd done a lot of swimming out in the ocean, and he said, "Hey, this would be perfect for you. They jump out of planes, they swim, they dive, they work with weapons, they blow things up." He said, "I think you should pursue this route." And that's what I did. From about the age of 14, I started researching it, and I said, that was my sole focus from there forward.
You know, Jason, I've read quite a bit about Navy SEALs, and I want you to know that coming from me, I have the utmost respect for your abilities, your concentration, and your dedication. It's not easy becoming a Navy SEAL. Tell my audience exactly some of the rigors that you have to go through.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's the training itself is incredibly demanding. SEAL training, like we talked about earlier, it's got about a 75% attrition rate. So 75% of the people, and we're talking about very physically fit people. I mean, just to get to SEAL training, you have to have a very high level of fitness. You have to pass several levels of tests. You have to have a pretty high level of intelligence to do this job. So just to get in the doors of SEAL training, you know, you're really in some of the top tiers of people in our nation. And then you start that training, and it's very difficult. The 6-week training, many consider it the hardest training in the world. It's called Hell Week. And for an entire week, you get almost no sleep. You're constantly moving. You're constantly cold, wet, uncomfortable. And really the whole idea behind Hell Week is to show people that you have the ability, even though your body's saying stop because of the pain and the discomfort and the cold, your mind has the ability to push yourself so far beyond what you actually think you can do. And that truly is what separates Special Operations Forces apart, and of course the SEAL teams apart, is that ability to push ourselves beyond.
Now,
it's just a tremendous job and very difficult training. It doesn't stop at BUD/S. It continues on once you actually become a SEAL. We have a saying, the harder we train in peace, the less we bleed in war. And we always train for the absolute worst case scenario we can come up with.
Now, your book, you explain and really go in depth about what you call the reforging of a Navy SEAL, because you claim that you made a critical error that got you into a lot of trouble. Would you care to give us just a small elaboration on that, please?
Yeah, I think that's what's so important. I think a lot of these books that are out there tend to paint Special Operations and SEALs in this light that we're these infallible machines, and that's just not the case. I mean, we are ordinary men who have been blessed with an extraordinary ability to overcome adversity, and that really is the heart and soul of what makes that Special Operations warrior. And I wanted people to look to the book because I made some mistakes and I suffered some catastrophic events in my life, and I had to overcome them. So for me, that mistake came from, some of my own arrogance, some of my own skewed views of what it is to be a leader, and all of that culminated with a bad call I made on a mission in Afghanistan. And thankfully, we didn't lose anybody. This story would probably be a lot different if that had happened. But instead, I just, during an assault operation, we were clearing the valley, we got into a big firefight. I maneuvered myself and another individual down off a point of tactical advantage, if you will, down into this valley, really for the sole reason I wanted to get into the fight. And that's not a good thing as a leader. I mean, one of the biggest things, as especially a warrior leader on the battlefield, you not only know when to be in the fight, you have to know when not to be in the fight.
Mm-hmm.
And that started a whole new journey. I found myself in a lot of trouble. I found myself standing before my commanding officer. I found myself facing the prospect of them taking, which is, you know, everything that you work for to achieve it is probably the biggest. It was the biggest obstacle I'd ever faced in my life, facing that challenge and really having to humble myself and come to learn what it truly is to be a leader and what it is to be a team member. And that started a whole new journey of reforging me into a new person and a better leader and teammate.
Now, Jason, we're having a little trouble. I'm assuming that you're on a cell phone. If you can, hold it really still. It's cutting out just a little bit, please. I also want to mention quickly that you were also shot during a battle in Iraq, a very serious wound, as a matter of fact, to the arm and the face. At that time, when you were healing up in the hospital and after all the surgeries and everything else, did you at any time have second thoughts about your commitment to becoming and being a Navy SEAL?
No, never. It wasn't anything that ever even crossed my mind. And to be perfectly honest with you, I tell a lot of people, that journey I went through when I made that mistake, and I had to overcome not only myself, I had to redeem myself, I had to earn back my reputation and the trust of the guys. That is the hardest journey I've ever walked, and I think that truly prepared me for those severe wounds that I sustained. So when all that happened, I looked back on it and I just said, you know what, this is tough, but I've been through worse. And it also made me, one of the things I realized out of all that, I talk about in the book, if you are going to be a leader, then you've got to lead always, regardless of the situation you're in. So in that situation for me, I said, hey, I can even lead from this hospital bed by staying positive, lifting up the people around me. You know, you can't change the past. All you can do is drive forward and shape the future. And that's what I set out to do.
You know, Jason, we've never met. We've never had a chance to compare stories. I've had quite a few different things in my life that have put me in the hospital with many, many numerous surgeries. And the one thing that has always been a plus for me and kept me going is my family situation with the strength, the love, and the absolute drive of my wife. And I noticed that you mentioned that in the prelude to your book, that your wife was very important to your healing and your progress after the wounding.
Zeb, you're spot on. And I think anybody that's ever been through hardship in their life, it really is your family that makes all the difference. I was blessed with an amazing wife. I mean, truly a Spartan woman. And she just, you know, she was amazing. And that's such a big part of the story. I wanted people to understand what our military wives go through. So, you know, part of the book is a love story. It's how we met, and it's how she supported me throughout my military career, both the ups and the downs, and then leading up to that point of injury where she became one of my best nurses. So it truly was the love of my wife, the support of my wife, and the unconditional love of our children that really helped me drive forward. I mean, it was a tremendous source of strength for me.
Let me ask you this, Jason. When people get the book called The Trident, and they open it up and they sit down and read it, and then they go all the way to the last page and close the cover, when they close that cover for the last time, what is it? What is it that you want them to take away from that book?
You know, there's several different things. Really, I wrote the book to motivate and inspire people. Like, everybody has made a mistake in their life that they've had to overcome, whether it's a small mistake or whether it's a catastrophic mistake that really, for a short period of time, ruined their life. And everybody has encountered some sort of catastrophic event, whether it was losing their job or whether they, you know, at the highest level, severe injury or sickness to themselves, or you lose a loved one. So that's probably the biggest thing I want people to walk away from, that regardless of any adversity you counter in life, you know, your success, your ability to overcome these things that we face in life, it starts and stops with you. And it's that mental commitment to say, okay, I'm going to put one foot in front of the other, and to stay positive. And, you know, that really is the heart and soul of the book. It's a book about overcoming adversity, leadership, motivation, inspiration. And then it really is a book about family, about the love of my wife and family. And all the reviews reflect that. It's been amazing. We've had everything from the military members who read it who say, hey, thank you for writing a book that truly shows us for who we really are. You know, that there are lessons that we have to learn along the way. All the way to the 75-year-old grandmother who wrote me and said, I loved your book. I loved how you related the story of your wife and your family.
Absolutely. Jason, now tell me a little bit about where the book can be obtained so that my audience can get a copy of The Trident.
Yeah, they can buy it at any major bookseller, Amazon.com, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble. It's available electronically through iTunes, Kindle, and it's also available in an audio version.
Absolutely. Well, I guarantee you this, young man, that after I get a copy of The Trident, The Forging and Reforging of a Navy SEAL Leader by Jason Redman, I'm going to read the book and make sure that you're back on the air with me so that we can do a recap. Would you do that for us?
Zeb, I'd be honored. I'd love to.
All right. Well, God's blessings to you. I hope the book does very well, and I'll be in touch, sir. Thank you for your time, and also thank you for your service to this country.
Zeb, glad to be on, and it was my honor. Amazing to serve with so many of the men and women that serve our great nation. Truly the pinnacle of people that we have in this country. So thank you for having me on.
God bless you. Jason Redman, The Trident, The Forging and Reforging of a Navy SEAL Leader. And I cannot wait to read that book. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a weather update. Here's Michael Rogers Weather.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. Be careful what you ask for. You may get it. Where am I going with this? Well, you need the moisture. This is one way you're going to get it. And oh, by the way, you're going to get this, what you got on the ground, all the way through the weekend. Now, the good news is that you'll be warming up into the 40s by the weekend. Right now, you're going to top out today. You're going to struggle to get to possibly 25, maybe 27. Should be about an inch on the ground before it's over, said and done. Be careful as you're driving today, and have a great day. Enjoy the weather. Tell me whether you got.
There he goes. MichaelRogersWeather.com. Thank you. Right here on Zeb at the Ranch. Oh, Gina, no big plans for the weekend. Going to stay there and run the radio station, and no basketball games that are all over. Everything's all done. All you can do is just sit there and listen to the music, huh?
Actually, we still have basketball games going on, and districts start up on the 18th.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! And then I suppose, what else? You got BYU too, or?
No, actually, we don't carry BYU anymore.
Oh, I see.
Now we're just doing Burley and Minico.
You can tell how much I'm up on top of things, can't you?
Exactly, I know. And so I think maybe, and I will confirm with you, I might be bringing over some ribeyes.
Are you kidding me?
Saturday.
You know what? Now, please.
We've been tempting this for a while.
Let me, of course, if this happens, let me make sure that I contact some of my friends in both Cassia County and Twin Falls County so that if you need an armed escort, you will have one.
Oh, wonderful. Yes, and make sure that you have a snowplow in front of me as well.
I hope it doesn't snow that much, but, that's the one thing I'm worried about is that I did get my appetite back a little bit the last couple of days, and I'm going to try. Tomorrow morning is D-Day. Actually, it's W Day. W standing for Wranglers. I am going to try to get a pair of Wranglers over my kneecap tomorrow morning.
Now, how is the knee doing? Has the swelling gone down a little bit?
It's pretty big. It's still pretty big, but it's a lot better than it was.
Yeah, and how's the mobility? Still doing your exercises?
I'm doing my exercises twice a day, thanks to my lovely bride, and she brings in a whip and a chair, and we have to do all the exercises. There is one exercise in particular that just absolutely brings big alligator tears to my eyes.
Is that the one where you have to sit forward on the chair and then she bends the knee backwards?
Bends it underneath me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there, and see, I've tried to give up on saying any curse words.
Oh, please.
I failed.
I know.
That absolutely lights up my eyes. I have never in my life hurt as bad as when she does that exercise on my leg. And, she does it where I'll say, now go slow, and all of a sudden she'll just push it underneath me, and I'm,
Because she's not going to go slow. Are you kidding me? She's like, oh, no, I am not going to go slow, and I'm going to make you feel this. And we've got Al on the phone for you.
I figured he would call. Good morning, Al. How are you?
You're welcome. You forget one exercise now.
What's that?
Push weight.
Yeah, but, and she makes such delicious meals. Now, the doctors told me that I should try to maintain a level of consistency in eating so that I get the proteins and the nutrients to have everything heal up good. Well, I'm afraid that I'm going to have a vice grip and a doggone, I don't know what to get my pants around me tomorrow.
Well, just cut your leg off, your pants leg off that's on that sore leg, and just make sure you got like a short.
Yeah, there goes a $35 pair of Wranglers so I can look like I'm nuts.
Yeah. Hey, that interview with that SEAL.
Yes.
That was great.
I will get the book, and then I'm going to read it quick, and then I'll have him back on. How's that?
You betcha. Have a good one.
All right, Al. Take care of yourself. Appreciate it.
Stay warm.
I will try, believe me. That's the one thing that's all messed up is my temperature gauge, Gina. I can't stand to be cold. I used to never be bothered with that.
So let me guess, you're not sleeping in a 34-degree bedroom anymore?
Well, I have to. I mean, that doesn't change.
Oh, it doesn't change?
No, because I can snuggle in the covers and try to sleep. But during the day, I get cold. It could be 80 degrees in this office, and I get cold.
Do you have a heater underneath your desk? Do you have your blankie wrapped around you?
I would be embarrassed, and I mean this, to stand up all of a sudden on camera and show you the multiplicity of clothing, including all the sweatpants and everything else that I'm wearing.
Now, do you still have to have the ice pack on your knee?
Yep, and I look like a homeless person. Deanne said it's a good thing that Gina can't see how you're dressed, because I do look like a homeless person sitting here behind this desk.
At least I can't see you from the waist down.
You don't want to. You don't want to.
At least you're comfortable. As long as you're comfortable and you're making headway on your recovery and your therapy, that is what's important.
Absolutely. Well, listen, you let us know the status if you're going to be able to get over or not. Now, next Monday, we're going to have kind of an interesting program. I haven't got a hold of everybody yet that's going to be connected with this program, but at 10 o'clock hour, we're going to try to get some of the various county commissioners on the program to talk about the problems in their counties and how the money is and everything. We're going to do that. And we got Frosty on and a whole bunch of things, so that's coming up on Monday. And real quick, I want to tell you, too, about the Founders Celebration at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations are celebrating founders right now in honor of Mr. Les Schwab. What a great, great man. What a fantastic business. 7 great locations around the area. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, John on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Randy. He's so happy the Seahawks won right there on Overland and Burley. Super tire buys. They've got some passenger car tires starting as low as just $39.99. And they've got all kinds of pickup and SUV tires. They got some starting at $89.99, and special offers on various custom wheels, $50 off when you buy a new set of 4. It's all there at every location of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. You stop in and see them today. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless all of you for all your kind thoughts, all your cards, all your emails, all your letters. You have been so nice to Deanne and I. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. Of course, Gina, we couldn't do this program without her. She's the main quarterback over at the studios, and all of our guests and all of our advertisers. Thank you so much. And we're going to look forward to a kind of a restful weekend as we stay home in the cold and the snow. And we'll be back here on Monday morning at 8:06, right here on KBAR 1230 and streaming live on the net, ZebBell.com, and I wish you the best. God bless you and your family, the way things were, the way things ought to be. We will see you Monday morning.